Mm. 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 Mm.
Hello, what's up, Fabian?
Mm.
Alright, let me close all my shit. Hello, what's up, Fabian?
Mm.
Okay, I had my own stream open for some reason. Oops. Oh, that's my bad. Okay, so I got that. Also, I figured out why the foliage uh, jitters like this. Because I had someone comment that. They were like, your mod makes my foliage jitter and be weird. And I was like, I don't do anything related to that. It turns out it's actually the better 30 FPS patch. So not anything to do with my mod. The better 30 FPS patch changes some frame pacing stuff. And apparently one of the downsides is it messes with the foliage, the vertex shaders for some reason. Even though I'm still running the game at 30 FPS, obviously, as the patch implies. So kind of weird. I just ignore it, but you can just turn that patch off and go back to the base 30 FPS. How isn't your PC exploding with the game? It's doing fine. I mean, I have a Ryzen 50. Let's see if I can pin this because I wrote something earlier and then I was able to pin it, but not the other times. Ryzen 7 5700X, RTX 4060 Ti, 16 gigabytes, 32 gigabytes, DDR4. Now let's see if I can pin this. Aha! Check that shit out. Nice. Yeah, it's not like a crazy PC, but I can run it at 1440p pretty decently. And with my mod that makes the game heavier, so. And I technically can get 60 FPS some of the time. It's just not consistent enough for me, and the input latency is worse most of the time than the 30 FPS mode. So now you should be able to, I mean, even with lower spec PCs, the emulators made a ton of improvements if you haven't tried it recently within the last couple months. You should be able to play it on a much lower PC, like it, 1080p. There's even patches for 900p. There's a patch for 720p. It's pretty scalable as far as that. But of course, the main like limiter is your processor technically, because it is emulation at the end of the day, and that's just CPU intensive. So I play 900p with the 60 FPS delta time. Yeah, I mean the 60 FPS is going to hurt you a little bit there for sure. That's going to make your computer have to work a lot harder. I personally play at 30 FPS like 99% of the time because A, I'm just really used to it. Honestly, with Bloodborne, B, I don't know why I'm doing some sort of lettered fucking list, but here we are. Um, it's obviously easier because I'm streaming it and with my mod and all that, it just makes a lot more sense to I focus more on now of course I could lower the resolution and then 60 FPS becomes more capable. Man, I fucking love Bloodborne. Hell yeah, me too. It's so good. If you guys, I meant to make a video on Sunday, but because of who I am as a person, I didn't. I did put out a new patch for this mod, 0.99.5, which means we are very close to the end of at least what I want to do for now. And it updates the research hall and a bunch of other shit, to be honest. What was I doing? Okay, I had Burger Town. Yes. I did beat the one Reborn, and I did beat Big Daddy Log. Actually, let's go see the Queen of Cainhurst. I mean, everyone's been talking about Elden Ring and Dark Souls 3. Really? I mean, yeah, Elden Ring always gets talked about. And Dark Souls 3 as well. I personally like Bloodborne much more than Dark Souls 3. But I also obviously still really like Dark Souls 3 a lot. But Bloodborne is special. I mean, come on. Just so cool looking. It's just, it's some next level shit. Oh yeah, give me that insight. Oh, check that out. I got 42 blood echoes and I have 42 insight. It would have been funnier if it was 69 or if it was 67, because of course I am hip and I know these things. Okay, let's go say hi to her. And I'm not going to do what almost everyone does, which makes total sense, is that they walk right up to her and then she gets pissed. You have to kneel. Moon-scented hunter. You know, I would agree with that. I am pretty moon-scented. I did get new deodorant recently. It's not moon-scented, but it's close. People are murdered, yeah. I would just love to be a vile blood. That's what I'm saying, you know? Okay. Feel the spreading corruption burn. Fuck yeah. Absolutely. Okay. Thank you. Oh, I don't have any blood dregs, sorry. I kind of blue balled you on that one, but it's fair. Alright. Ooh, I think I have some backface culling to fix. Yeah, you can see my character gets lit by the exterior here, even though I'm indoors. So not like it's super noticeable. Also, there's like a window, so like, you know. I would like to take a look at that window to see if I can actually let like dynamic light through here. That could look cool. All right, well, I did that just so I can warp tour now on the van's warp tour. I'm trying to remember where to go, if I'm honest. I know there's like the Nightmare Frontier. Oh, yeah. I know. Yeah, I got it. I got to go back to where I killed the one Reborn. Although there is more to explore in Yahar'gul for like upgrade materials and whatnot. It's funny that the reason why Miyazaki didn't want to remake this game is because the game was his work when he gave birth to his first child. Yeah, he gave humanity a new beginning. Well, and also I assume what you mean is he didn't want someone else remaking it, but he himself, I would bet, extremely good money, does not want to remake it himself because, I mean, they just don't remake games, and he's never shown any interest in remaking his own stuff or remastering it. That's just not FromSoft, which is good. I'm glad they don't waste time doing that, you know? Ooh, okay, I see I gotta remove the baked lighting, the baked shadows on this thing. As you can see, everything else around it is lit, but the actual lamp itself is dark. Yeah, I mean, exactly. I think hindsight is yeah. They look back and go, oh. Now, what I do think is criminal as the game of the year thing, like whatever. The fact that it didn't, I don't even think it got nominated for best score. Like to me, that's the real crime at the Game Awards. I'm like, what? What are you guys insane? I'm assuming at that point people just hadn't played it, so they didn't know. Because I mean, of course, they were far less popular at that point. I mean, not to say that they were incredibly less popular, but obviously less popular than they are now. Now they're like, everyone's GOAT, but back then, nah. Oh, Witcher 3 is amazing. Witcher 3 is phenomenal. And totally, totally deserved Game of the Year. Absolutely. I still need to play the DLC or the two DLCs for Witcher 3. I tried and then I just kind of bounced off. I can't really say why. I just did. Oh, yeah. No, I mean, obviously, if Bloodborne had one, I would be super okay with that. I'd love that. But I also think people get a little too into like importance of Game of the Year and Game Awards when it's like, well, it's just like the Oscars and a bunch of other, award stuff where it's just their opinion. At the end of the day, it's like it's an award made by humans. And so it's going to be inherently flawed, and at the end of the day, it's not like the be all end all, I guess, is kind of where I come down on that. Man, God, fuck these things. God damn it. I just want upgrade mats. I want to go beat this fucking pig, dude. Get off my dick. I'll also drop some shit. Or not. Okay. That's fine. Ow. Oh yeah, they're fucking spit snipers. Oh, that's great. Ow. Hey, hey. Also, I need to like close my blinds. I can't see shit right now. My monitor is not bright enough. Ooh, yeah, check out this texture I need to upscale. Oof. Oof. Yeah, that texture is low resolution. These are the ones I'm like specifically targeting with the mod as I play through it. Versus a let's upscale everything, which I don't like doing. I have done in the past for many games, many of the Dark Souls games, but I'm trying to get away from that. And just upscale what is needed. Because a lot of the stuff is fine. Let me close my blinds real quick. So glad people had the time and attention to mod this game on PC. Yeah, I would agree. Some pretty cool mods out there. There's some video that was on my YouTube recommendations that they were playing Bloodborne on PC for the first time, and in the intro they were like, "Oh yeah, and we have this 4K texture mod." And I was like, "Well, I'm not aware of that," but then again, I guess I don't really keep track that often. But I guess someone has made a 4K texture pack, which is maybe they just misspoke, but that would require them to upscale sometimes like 4x or even higher, and that's an awful idea. I've been there, I've done that. That's a terrible idea. So hopefully they didn't do that, and he just misspoke. But that that is not a great idea. You'd have to over upscale stuff, and yeah, I always thought that door would be accessible. Oh, item. Ooh, frenzied cold blood. Fuck yeah. Actually, yeah, let's just head this way. Yeah, the art direction of this game is just crazy. Crazy. Yeah, go spit on me all you want, guys. I mean, not too much. Ow. Okay. Yep. Ooh. Item. 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 Okay. Ooh, Arcane Lake. I don't remember what that is, actually. I need to upscale the textures on these fucking guys, too. I need to check it, at least. I've been doing that lately. Looking at the textures for Papa G, Cleric Beast. I've been kind of going through those and just double checking. Making some higher shininess maps for them. Because usually those were like quarter resolution. Sometimes half. Okay, let's go in here. Ooh. So how's everyone doing? Sorry I took, well, I was gonna say sorry I took Friday off, but it's not like I have a set schedule. That was, I guess, apologizing to myself at that point. Because that was in my mind, the schedule I wanted to keep to of like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, give or take. What's up, Micolash? How you doing, big dog? Violin is my life. Oh, hell yeah. Love to hear that. Also, thank you. Hey, man, wish you a wonderful day. I also wish you a wonderful day. That was very nice. Um, you know what? I guess I'll just eat all of my insight. I'm pretty okay with that. Let's see if I can get to 100. I don't think I've ever gotten to 100 in a playthrough. One thing I don't like to have in video games is being taken advantage of. Hollywood. Stop making them. That doesn't work. Yeah. Yeah, it's certainly not like a guaranteed success thing. And Hollywood, depending on who you... Oh, why is... Oh, is there like a spotlight here? Yeah, this is shadow casting. I mean, just terrible shadow casting, though. The spotlights in this game do not handle shadow casting very well. Incredibly low resolution. I guess I'm pretty okay with them in general. Of like, I've never bought into the, well, if there's a bad adaptation, that means it ruins the game. And I'm like, well, no, no, the game is still awesome, and I don't really see any of that ruining it. I tend to find that a bit hyperbolic. I think maybe they go, yes, but people have a worse opinion of it. And I go, I think it's fine. Like, you can have a bad adaptation. Good news. I managed to install your remaster mod. Problem was I had installed on a different hard drive. Yep, that'll do it. Makes the game look a lot better. Plus, I got it locked to 80. Ooh, shoot. Happy to hear you had it working. Or got it working. Yeah, that'll commonly be the problem of where ReShade is installed, depending on where you installed the game, and if it doesn't, yeah. A little goofy. But fuck yeah. Yeah, still, I got a little bit of work left to do. Polishing phase. I have more textures to upscale. As you can see in here, I have a bug, which I fixed some of it in the last update in different areas where you'll see the light leak coming in here that's actually hitting the player. It shouldn't. I have to edit this model and block out the light. I thought I had done all of them, but apparently I'd missed this one. Do we still need to install ReShade? Well, yes. The short answer is yes, but only for anti-aliasing. Because I do have the in-game in-game SSAO is turned back on. That's been turned back on for, I think, four releases, give or take. Because I decided that, like, okay, that makes sense. Now, actually, I haven't talked about this on video yet. I don't know why I said it like that, but I did actually go through and I modified the in-game SSAO settings. since I was going to use them, I was like, okay, well, at least let me try to improve it. And I basically turned on some of the ambient occlusion blurring features that Bloodborne has that actually DS3 does not have in their shadow or in their ambient occlusion param, interestingly enough. And so I actually turned on some of that. They also have like an upscale feature to the AO. And so now it just looks a little softer and it's less noisy. That was my big issue with Bloodborne's ambient occlusion, is it was incredibly noisy. You could just see it everywhere. And that was part of the aesthetic, I suppose, but I softened it. I don't have any good like before and after. Well, actually, my Twitter feed has that from like 3 days ago. I could go that way, or I could fight this jabroni. Yeah, so basically it's just for anti-aliasing at this point. You can do more if you'd like. Well, and depth of field. That's true. I forgot. Depth of field is included as well. It's pretty good depth of field though. I unfortunately don't really like the built-in depth of field. Same for DS3. They really improved their depth of field with the later games. But it's just, ugh. Oh, they're jizzing on me. God damn it. The fact that they can just squirt all over me is awful. Sorry, YouTube. Just imagine I'm talking about the squirt soda, which I actually do really love. I wish they would make a caffeinated version of squirt. The soda. Oh shit, a chunk? Of a mother flippin' chunk? I locked it to 80 FPS. That's an interesting... Huh. That's an interesting frame rate. I'm used to like 90. Obviously there's, 120. I guess if you have like variable refresh rate, I guess 80s. I don't know. There's a whole bunch of thing about like, or a whole thing about what's divisible but I mean, if it looks good to you and it works, and that's some good shit. Yeah, there's some shadow casting going on here. I gotta turn that off because, well, maybe not. Because the shadow is low resolution, but I don't think anyone actually cares. I think the shadow probably is more of an addition than a negative at this point. I wish the shadow casting on the spotlights wasn't so dog shit, but unfortunately in Bloodborne it just is, and I haven't found any. Yeah, even up here you can see there's a spotlight. What the hell is going on? I mean, I guess it looks fine. I'll definitely download this on my Steam Deck. Nice. I'd like to have a Steam Deck one of these days. I also need a Switch too. I don't have the money for that. But I would like a Switch 2, purely for Duskbloods. Ooh, what does Communion do? I also got another one recently. Let me go check what that does. Oh, strengthens visceral attacks. Oh, shit. Okay. Oh, I already have the +3 on that. Oh, visceral attack damage by 20% is a game changer. I absolutely need to put that on. I think... yeah. What's the other one I have on? Oh, good. Okay, so when I go back to the Hunter stream, someone remind me. And if you don't, no big deal. I'll take this off, and I'll basically put on the 20% stronger visceral attacks, and then I'll also get health back. And I have 3 more vials. That is a good... that'll do. That'll do, pig. None, nothing, 4412. What is up? Yes, we are playing Bloodborne, and specifically the mod that I have worked a long time on, although nowhere near as much as my DS1 mod, but I don't think anything will get close to ever being that amount of work, to be honest with you. Oh yeah, you're like a special fire guy. That's cool. I beat up your big ball brother like 500 hours ago. He had a big ball, and he hung out in Cathedral Ward. I think his name was Carl. Okay, this guy always, like, I always don't get hit by him until, like, the very last hit. Oh, fuck yeah. Oh, okay, I can't visceral you? Damn. Oh, fuck. Ow. Fuck, ow. Shit. Hey, shoot your fucking fire, big dog. I want to see your fire. Oh, you broke the shell. Oh, ow. Okay, I didn't expect the swipe, I'll be honest with you. Are you just like aura farming with the fire? Because you should probably use it. Oh, fucking a mother flipping blood. I was gonna say called a Bloodborne chunk. That's close enough. It works. That technically works. Oh, Spider Guy. What's up, Patches? Hey, how you doing, man? Okay, let me open the door. Boink. Thank you. Nah, you're cool, big dog. You're cool. We like you. Yeah. Do you have anything for me? You do. I forget what that does. Um. Oh. Oh. Oh my God. I forgot about that rune. Holy shit. 15% stamina? Are you kidding me? I might have to change my rune plan that I literally just made. Okay, we're on the lower level now. Very nice. If I remember correctly, isn't the top level the one that you get to the Nightmare Frontier through? Because I do want to do that. At some point. I guess I don't have to do it. Like, oop, not from this side. Oh, maybe this one. Yes. Nice. Okay, looking around, looking around. Where? Oh, hell yeah. Here we are. Oh, we got the squirt brigade. Yikes. I mean, I guess they were just, yeah, look at these shadows. Yeah, the resolution on the spotlight shadows is so incredibly low. It is fighting for its fucking life right now. Luckily, the sun shadows are much higher resolution, but local shadow casting like this, Bloodborne does not do well with that. That is just a limitation of the game. Oh, sick. Doing God's work. I mean, as far as I know, God's pretty happy with me. I mean, Outer God or whoever the fuck. I don't know. God also might be dead, but it's fine. Or never was alive to begin with. Yeah, let's go in here. There should be an ooze. There should be the dude up there that's gonna try to like fucking suck me off, and I am just not gonna let it happen. Yeah, there you go, big dog. You tried and you failed. No one gets to suck me off. Unless I want to be. Good start to the stream. Okay. What do we... Ooh, we got a chest. Sick. If the last stream, I was getting raw dogged. Crazy style. By Ludwig. So I decided to go elsewhere. Level up. Get some shit. And then come back. Ooh. Oh, fuck yeah. Oh my God. Am I interrupting? Am I interrupting the lecture? Oh God. Oh God. They're squirting. Oh, they're squirting crazy style. Oh, that's bad. Oh, that's bad. Oh, that's some nasty shit too. All right, man. I think we know that's not cool. Like, that's not cash money. Oh, fuck. Oh, I'm getting absolutely dookied on. Also, the engine limitation. I don't know where it's actually, like, handled at, because I'd love to turn that off, where it, like, lowers the animation rate. It still happens. To be fair, I don't think I've seen that in Elden Ring, but I definitely saw it in Sekiro with the monkeys. But it was only like that one instance. And I mean, that's why I don't think it's a huge issue, because, like, it doesn't happen that often. It's pretty, ooh, sedative, thank God. Give me some of those for the upcoming fucking winter lanterns. Nice, nice. Oh, chest. Cool. Oh, hell yeah, dude. Wait, why can't I use it? What does that mean? Oh, I need more arcane. Shit. Damn. That's tough. Well, I guess I can go this way. Yeah, I'll go this way. I think this one goes to the Nightmare of Memphis, Tennessee, and the upstairs one goes to the Nightmare Frontier, right? If I remember correctly. Is this Bloodborne on PC? Yes, it is. You would be 100% correct. Goodbye, Randon. It is a sleigh. Oh, good. It's the Nightmare Frontier. Fantastic. This is actually where I wanted to go. This is actually a good example of some parallax occlusion mapping that I added here on this ground. And actually, like, all the way out there. You can see that this ground with this new height map has this sort of, you can see a little bit of depth and kind of like, I don't know how to describe it, but it looks pretty good. The irony, because I'm planning on playing Bloodborne. Wait for your first time? Because if it is your first time, oh boy, you are in for a treat. Ooh, just finished Sekiro. What did you think of Sekiro? Before I jump out there and lavish a shitload of praise on it. Madman's Knowledge, nice, nice. I don't remember how much it takes to level up. Also, a lot of the textures here have been upscaled as well. Obviously, baked shadows removed, dynamic shadows, all the normal stuff. I think it looks really good. Like it a lot. Hell yeah. Yeah, Sekiro is an interesting one. I personally don't consider it like a Souls game, because I think it differs enough in terms of gameplay. I think it has FromSoft elements that cross over with the Souls elements. Not that it really matters, like, what you call it, because it's fucking awesome. It also has incredibly, like, it has very straightforward storytelling generally, which I like. And it also limits a lot of your, like, options, which is very, like, anti-Souls game. But it's phenomenal. I love it that it's very different. I know a lot of people, can find that a little restrictive. That's why I tend to consider it the hardest of the FromSoft games, for me, which I know a lot of people would disagree with. But for me, my reasoning is strictly because it limits your options versus the other games. Like, you can't just go farm levels. You can't just go farm. Well, obviously in, like, Bloodborne and Demon Souls, you can't just go farm heals in Sekiro. Like, that's just not. That is not. That's not what you do. They also limit you on the pellets. So even if you wanted to get a shitload of pellets, you can only hold a certain number, which was the return of the life gems, just in a very limited fashion. My tech Sekiro feels a lot more like God of War. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely more of a, like, straightforward, here is your weapon. And I kind of like the ability to turn my brain off in like build crafting and all that stuff. I don't have to worry about that. All I have to do is pop off. Also in Sekiro, I think it has one of the best, like, power fantasies, in the sense that once you understand how it works, you can become a god. And I think that's really cool. I think that's fucking awesome, because you can just parry God himself, or deflect God himself. Ooh, hunter fight. Okay, come on, big dog. Okay, well, I missed on that one. You know what? I need to go back. Actually, fuck you. Fuck. Ooh, hey, don't poison me. I need to go back to the Hunter's Dream real quick. I need to go change out my runes. and I have money. I'm actually not cash poor right now, so let me take advantage of it. Yeah, it's a very set play style. My hope and my dream is that they do continue the with a sequel to Sekiro at some point. And of course, the giant option on the table is the Journey to the West, uh, which I know that they don't like to pick like a canon ending, so I can understand them not doing that. But anything with Sekiro, I think there's more to tell in that world. But I also think it's the perfect like one-off if they just wanted to keep it how it is. But if they did want to return to it, I think the perfect idea is to add like odachis, right? Like maybe like a couple different weapon types and move sets, like just a little bit. Sprinkle in a little bit of freedom there. And I think that would actually be a lot of fun. They can kind of expand it a little bit. And I think they actually have a really good opportunity because the director of Armored Core 6, or well, I should say the director who took it over from Miyazaki, who was the initial game director, the one who took it over, I don't remember his name offhand, but he is the gameplay lead for Sekiro, or was the gameplay lead. And so I think since he obviously proved himself with Armored Core 6, which if you haven't played Armored Core 6, fuck yeah, it's awesome. I think he's proven himself, and you could give him the sequel to Sekiro because he would 100% understand it. And maybe, obviously Miyazaki could supervise or something like that. But I would love to see that. Let's see if I have any new gems. Nope. Number don't go up, so we're good to go. Let's go switch out our runes. So this is higher blood vial, which I'm okay with. But the first thing to take off is this. I don't need the arcane damage reduction. The acquired blood echoes is nice. However, I just recently got this, which raises stamina by 15%, which, fuck yeah. Stamina in a Souls game? Oh yeah. Okay, so that's visceral attacks restore HP. So now I have the harder choice of, do I either take off the visceral attacks restore HP and turn that into 20% stronger visceral, so more aggressive, but I get less benefit from it in terms of my health, which I like that idea because Bloodborne, similar to Sekiro, is all about aggression, which is actually why you'll be right at home in Bloodborne, as they have a very similar like methodology of what they want the player to do. Both want you to essentially run toward the danger. You are the danger. Like you are Heisenberg. You're meant to roll into the danger. And that's why you don't have shields. And you have gun parries, which of course in Sekiro you have the deflecting, but they are both that same idea of, like in Sekiro, it's hesitation is defeat. And that's why, like, I love Sword Saint Ishin. That fight is perfectly designed to, you have to keep the pressure up. And it took me so long to beat him. Because my brain kept telling me, dodge away, dodge away. Oh no, we got to do that. Oh. When in reality, you have to just turn off the fear part of your brain and just rush at them and hope that you remember what the game has been telling you the whole time of like what to do and to deflect and just nonstop aggression. And it's actually like it's perhaps a strange analogy to some, but the Formula One racing, or even Formula 2 or Formula 3, any of them essentially function on a very interesting concept, which is you actually have to go a certain speed to have the grip that you need to not die. So you actually have to push yourself past when your brain is telling you you need to brake Otherwise, you're going to just completely biff this corner and die. And you actually have to push yourself past that. Because if you, ironically, if you listen to that, you'll die. Well, you'll crash and flip and whatever. You actually have to go fast enough to keep the tires hot enough to specifically have that grip in the corner. It's an inversion of what your brain is trying to tell you. And that's something on a much smaller scale in terms of Bloodborne and Sekiro. You have to just go for it. And if you fail, you fail. But if you hesitate, that is really what's going to spell your defeat. Not that you can't. Of course, in Bloodborne, there are ways around that. Okay, so that restores it. Yes, I'm going to go for strengthening visceral attacks. And I'm actually going to take off the blood vial maximum. Because I can beat this game with 20 vials. I don't need 23. I can have 20. Oh, also, goodbye, Randit. Have you played Demon Souls? Actually, you probably have said that. As of right now, my list... Oh, Elden Ring, DS1, DS3, and Sekiro. Ooh, you gotta add DS2 to that list. Did I just walk into F1 racing being compared to Bloodborne and Sekiro? Yes, you did. 100%. It's one of my favorite like little analogies because I don't watch F1 racing, and I also don't tend to follow it year round. I basically wait until Netflix puts out the Drive to Survive thing, which of course is not like a perfect understanding of what's actually happening, because of course they edit it for drama a little bit, but it does have the overall, like, here's what happened. This person won, the drama with this racer went to this team. And I actually find F1 to be fascinating because you only have like 20 spots in F1. You have 20 humans that can race at that level. And it's brutal. Like it is, and they're going like 300 kph. It's insane. It's so cool. The precision that you need, and the way that like they get trained from such a young age to essentially turn off that part of your brain that would normally tell you you're gonna die, and they like you're millimeters away from other cars, and it's insane. It's pure insanity, and it's there's so much skill that goes into it, and like whenever they go into the camera that's like recording in the car, it's batshit insane. The response time that they have, it's so crazy. I love it. But yeah, that whenever I first was watching that, and then when I had finally played Sekiro and Bloodborne, you understand the aggression that those games want you to have. And F1 is the same way. You can't hesitate in F1. If you hesitate in F1, you will crash. Simple as that. You have to be confident in all of your decisions. Even if they're the wrong one and you crash, it's better to do that than it is to second guess yourself. Because the second that you do that, you're likely to crash into somebody else and you could die. Luckily, they've made the cars a lot safer. They have the halo thing that's on top of it. That even if you flip and like all your tires come off, the driver doesn't die anymore. So that's pretty nice. Let's see if I can sell some shit. I've been yapping. I love yapping about F1. I probably should follow it year round because there's enough there to be interested in, and it just would be nice to like have another thing to be interested in. Also, I started playing Resident Evil 2 Remake last night, which I technically had booted up before, years before, I think on Xbox. And I don't even know what year it was. And I didn't go anywhere with it. But I have weirdly watched a playthrough of so many of the Resident Evil games, multiple times. I love them. I think they're so cool. I love that series. I love the story. Unironically, Right now I'm doing the Leon path. I will do the Claire path though, which I know is harder. I've seen the playthrough of that. That one definitely seems Claire's awesome. I'm currently watching like 10 different Resident Evil 9 playthroughs. And I just got through Maximilian Dudes last night. And man, what a game. What a fucking game. Like, there's so much fan service in it, but like, they earned it, you know? They earned it. It's so good. I gotta let my cat out. Like, it is so satisfying playing that game. Like, I've obviously already seen like countless playthroughs of Resident Evil 2 remake and the original. I've actually seen playthroughs of the original RE3, RE2, RE1 remake. I don't think I've seen the original RE1. I haven't seen RE0. I haven't seen Code Veronica, which actually I just recently saw someone, I haven't verified this, but I saw someone say that Code Veronica was actually meant to be the real Resident Evil 3. But for some contractual obligation, there was some reason that they had to, the Resident Evil 3 that we got wasn't really Resident Evil 3. I guess. And I know the remake obviously cut out a shitload of stuff, which a lot of people agree that it was okay that it cut out a lot of the fluff, but it did cut out apparently the clock tower section, which I recently saw that there's a modder who is working on restoring a lot of that, which is awesome. They're working on restoring a ton of shit to the remake. Oh, Sony had the rights. Ah, gotcha. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna play RE3 Remake still. As I've seen the playthroughs of it many, many, many times. It's incredibly short. It is a shame that a lot of the interactions are like cinematic and not actually gameplay anymore. Or like versus some of the other games. Like, yeah, like I see all the issues with it, but it's still a fun romp. And fucking Jill Valentine, like, come on. Come on. Oh, I'm glad they cut out the clock tower. Interesting. Okay. I don't really have a good opinion on that because, of course, I didn't play the original. I've seen playthroughs of it, but my memory of it is quite foggy. But I don't know. I think it's interesting with the remake, how it was done by. Of course, it was done by a different team because you had the separate team that did RE2 remake, which then did the RE4 remake, which I don't know. You know what's interesting is I actually had more fun. This might be a really, really useless perspective. I had more fun watching the original RE4 playthroughs than I did the RE4 remake. I feel like there's a little, like, obviously the RE4 remake is great. Of course it is. But I do think it's a little less, I don't know. I kind of felt like something was missing. I don't know. Like really good. And I've seen most people say they're like, oh, I think it's better than the original, which, you know, but there's something about the screenshots from the original that like it has a certain vibe to it that I think the remake lost a little bit, like with how much higher fidelity it is. I don't know. It's not quite the same. I don't know. I think RE4 Remake is superior to the OG. Well, there you go. See, yeah, that's exactly. Which I don't think is necessarily like a hot take. I've seen a lot of people say that, which is fine. Like, I mean, we're obviously talking about greatness here. Either way, I do think it was a game that didn't need a remake on the same level as obviously like RE2 and 3. Like, no shit. Like, look at the original games. They're vastly different games. And I think that's what I really liked is it allowed them to reinterpret it while still being, like, I would argue faithful, but I'm not the authority on that. But I much prefer those style of remakes where the original is really, really old, like Final Fantasy VII. I've seen playthroughs of Remake and Rebirth, right? And I think I've seen a playthrough of the original, and I like how different they are. Maybe that's a hot take, but oh, I can buy chunks. Fuck yes, I am gonna buy a goddamn chunk for this weapon. Are you kidding me right now? I need 3 chunks, which means I need 60 insight. And let me tell you, I have 60 insight. And I'm gonna fucking use it. Yoink. I wish Alone in the Dark got a remake. That sounds familiar. I feel like I've probably... Oh shit, by using that insight, it gave me Frenzy and Beasthood. What the freak? Okay. I've yapped enough. I need to upgrade my weapon to plus. I don't have enough money. Shit. Yeah, there's something about the original RE4 that just, there's a certain magic to it, and I think the remake obviously, like, keeps. I don't know. I mean I haven't. I'm really excited to play RE4 though. Holy shit, I'm excited to play that because I've seen so many playthroughs of it. But I know, like, the gameplay, fuck yeah. Even RE2 Remake, I'm having so much fun shooting the zombies and getting the headshots and trying to conserve my ammo and then putting stuff in the box to make sure I only have the things I need on my inventory or in my inventory. And then when you get a fucking hip pouch, that's just the best feeling ever. You're just like, fuck yeah, dude, that's amazing. It feels so good to get a hip pouch. It's ugh. It's so good. And I know a lot of people will be like, oh, it's so, that's so restrictive. And I'm like, yeah, but that's the point. That's the point. Yeah, RE4 Remake with the knife parry system. Yeah, that's pretty sick. I'm so excited to play Requiem when I finally get to it because the Leon sections, holy shit, that combat, like they have nailed it. Even just by watching it, it's so incredibly sick. And how dynamic the enemies are, and how you can interact with the environment to kill them, and the fucking axe, and sharpening the axe, and oh my god. Are you kidding me? Fucking amazing. Like, I can't wait to play that. It's so cool. Do you guys fuck with the RE2 and RE3 remakes? Hell yeah. Fuck yeah. I'm playing RE2 Remake for the first time right now. Well, not on stream, but last night. All the lights turned off, 3 a.m. in the morning. It was pretty great. Fortify weapon, yes. Okay, now does that? I wasn't sure if that opened up using certain gems or something. I don't know. No. Oh yeah. I guess I could upgrade the pistol. Yes, yes, yes. No, I don't have any chunks actually. Hold on. Bloodstone, okay. Okay, so yeah, I don't have any extra slots. Got it. Yeah, I honestly think the RE2 remake it's just one of the best games of all time. Like, to me, it's absolutely one of the shining examples of, like, when people say that all remakes are trash, I go, hold on. A, I disagree with you. B, RE2 remake. I'd also say Silent Hill 2 remake because I think that is another example of it being far enough away from the original to reinterpret certain things. But I think most people would agree it's incredibly true to the original. Also, they brought back Masahiro Ito, probably saying that wrong, as the creature designer, right? And then they brought back, oh god, it's gonna kill me. The composer of the original. Like that's how you do it. You bring back the original people. Obviously, the other remake that I point to is the RE1 remake for GameCube. You had Shinji Mikami do that. The original, the creator. Like that to me is now, of course, I think one of the more controversial remakes isn't it the Twin Snakes MGS1 like Kojima thing, which pretty split in the fan base, at least from what I've seen. I have not played. I'm not a Metal Gear guy, but I am. It's another one of those series that I'm interested in, just because I think it's so quirky and weird and fucking cool, you know. But I've seen it be pretty mixed on that, where they're like, and so that's sort of the interesting thing when you ask someone, would you want them to remake MGS1 again? And then it's like, yeah, but which version do you go with? Do you go with the one that is technically the final say from like Kojima? Because the fan base seems a little mixed on it. Of like, we like the original. I don't know. Okay, I don't want to fight two at once though. So let's just make sure it's just one of you. I think it is if I'm back here. Fingers crossed. Oh, hey, no. Get your bitch ass. Yeah, run back. Yeah, there you go. Well, okay. I was pretty sure I got that. Oh, fuck yeah, 20% stronger. No. Back the fuck up. Back the fuck. Oh, shit, dude, I do insane damage. Holy shit. I am not playing around. Oh my god, I'm melting these motherfuckers. Okay, maybe I might be a little strong here. I might be fucking strong as shit. Oh, damn, okay. Yeah, I am not playing around with these guys. Oh, lead elixir. I'm gonna sell that. I don't use that shit. They should read Metal Gear on the net. Oh, yeah. Yeah, the 2D Metal Gears. Yeah, that would be an interesting one. Speaking of Resident Evil, which we were not just speaking of, but prior, remaking RE1 again. I do think, because yeah, I think there's a part in Requiem that touches on. Well, I won't say it. No, I won't say it. No, I'll keep that one. I'll keep that one to myself. But basically, an RE1 remake could be really cool. Another one. Now, of course, that opens up which version do they take the most from? Because the mansion in RE1, I didn't know that it looked so incredibly different between the original and then the GameCube remake. Personally, the GameCube remake is the one I tried playing on stream, and then I bounced off because the controls, I struggled with that shit, let me tell you. I struggled hard. I will revisit it though. I think my problem with RE1 is that it just felt like I was constantly hitting locked doors. It just felt like a locked door simulator. Where I'm like, locked door, locked door, locked door, locked door, locked door, locked door. Oh, that one's open. Locked door, locked door, locked door, locked door, locked door. Oh, that one's open. And I admit I got tired of that. That just wasn't fun for me. But I know it's iconic and it has so much cool shit in it. And I think it also graphically looks insane. Those pre-rendered backgrounds plus the dynamic lighting that they have there is the perfect hybrid. Oh, fucking cock-ass, bitch-ass, taint-ass OS. Okay. Fucking boulder motherfuckers can just one-shot you. It's crazy. Ooh. Dude, I'm strong as shit. Like, I am yacked. I don't know if that's the correct saying. I'm yacked and yatted? Oh, fuck. Okay. Hey, oh. Okay, well. Never mind, frankly. Everyone hated the Silicon Knights remake. Yeah, I got humbled. Yeah, I got humbled on that one. Okay, he got me. Yeah, the 200s, man. I'm used to that shit taking longer, but I guess a plus, like, obviously, yeah, +9 weapon. I've also been better this playthrough with focusing more on endurance and skill than vitality. Usually by this point, I would have higher than like 26 vitality, which I know is already high depending on who you ask. I've always been a hoe for health in Souls games. I am not the person who's like, I'm never gonna get hit. Like, that's just not me. I'm not good enough for that. I kind of like it to be a street fight where, and that's what I like about Bloodborne, is that the rally mechanic, right? And I've always been really bad at utilizing it. But I've gotten better as of late, where, you can take hits, but the whole point is you can take those hits and, oh, dude, I don't see that attack very often. Fucking, fucking worm ass, tongue, tongue punch looking shit. Uh, oh, oh, hey, what's up, big dog? I'm surprised I missed you the other time. Okay, well, you don't drop Bloodstone shards. That's some bullshit. I don't need those. I don't need those, big dog. I mean, actually, to be fair, I don't need anything anymore. Okay, fuck it, it's not going that way. Well, actually, you know what? No, I will go this way. I need my souls back. I forgot about that. Oh, also, yesterday, I started a BL4 run, my first one. And I called him Bald Larry the Fourth, because of course. And there's something really cool about the BL4 run that I hadn't considered. It's actually really cool that I don't need to use my blood echoes for leveling. Because boy, I have a lot of money for other shit. It's crazy. I just got past Big Daddy Gas Bag, and I have like 100 vials because I've been buying that shit. I've been just straight buying that shit and leveling up my weapon or whatever. I definitely am never going to do a run. Well, I say that, but maybe I will. But I'm not very interested in I'm never going to level up my weapon. No, fuck that. I'm not going to attack shit with a butter knife. I don't know. That to me, that just doesn't strike me as terribly fun. But to each their own, I suppose. But I'm just like, dog, that just extends fights. And I don't know. I guess I don't find that to be very fun. But that's me. Okay, let's try not to get hit by the other boulder. Oh, pulp paper. Hey, where's that bitch ass that has my fucking blood echo? Hey, there you are. Oh, actually, you don't have them. You dropped them. Check that out. These guys are tricky. Okay, okay, okay. I admit, I'm stressing a little bit. They had me stressing. Ooh, drop something. Oh, oh, the boulder throwers. Fucking hate the boulder throwers. Oh, I can't see shit. Captain, I can't see shit. The shadows are too dark. I could just turn on my door. Oh my god. Oh my god. Dude, the damage is kind of crazy. I'm going to keep leveling up skill. Holy shit. I want to get up to like 40 skill, because that's like that's the soft cap, right? Where it's like, it's not really worth going above that. I can put it into other shit at that point. Yes. Yes. See, that's game design right there. Lead you to the shortcut. It's the reason there's no audio. Oh, that's because I'm dumb. That's because I'm dumb. God damn it. That's because I'm dumb. That's because I'm dumb. and I forgot that I had it muted, because I usually mute it when I'm modding, because I don't really need to hear. And that's why I didn't even notice, because I'm just so used to that, because I tend to mute it because I'm watching something else, and I want to hear, like, the stream I'm watching or something. I don't really care about all the noises. Oops. My bad. Shame on you, chat. How dare you not tell me these things? I mean, I should have known, but... So it's my fault. I shifted blame, but... okay, so let's continue going this way. Okay, that's the... I think that's the item that patches kicks you down, which I don't have any interest in. Let me drink water. Yeah, I mean, leveling up vitality over other stats, because it is just like the most basic, understandable stat of like, oh, I have more health. That's fucking awesome. So yeah, that makes sense. Ooh, wait, I finally found one of these little cup candle things that I had not added a point light to. This is like from ages ago, but this was like months and months and months ago, where I actually went through this entire map, and I went to every little cup that has these candles, and I placed a little tiny point light that adds a little bit of illumination to them. And that took a long time. That took a long time, but I had forgotten this one. Which is a good example, though, because you can see it has the little lights on it, or flames, but it's not giving off any light. But I had actually done it for all of the other ones. So, please enjoy that if you play this mod, because it took a long time. It took a long time. It turns out there's a lot of those in this map. There's like a fuckload. Yeah, here's one. You can see there's a little bit of light coming off of it, and it actually lights the candles. That is kind of the focus of this mod, aside from the larger things, is little tiny things like that. I also did it in Cathedral Ward a lot. There's a lot of candles now that have a point light on them. Yeah, this one has it. I just missed one. That's not hard to do, though. I'll do that after stream. Oh, did I miss this one too? No, I got that one. Oh, so right now the foliage is more affected by the wind because of that stupid ass 30 FPS patch, which I'm just using because it like apparently improves frame pacing or whatever. Realistically, I should just turn it off, but it affects the foliage. It makes it look weird. It would be much less noticeable, basically. It looks weird because of that patch. Okay. Yeah, there's an item up there. Damn it, I missed this one too. Fuck. Okay, I have more work to do on that. But I did like 100 of them. Yeah, like this one has it. Fuck. Yeah, Oh, like the wind blowing? Yeah, I mean, the wind would still be blowing, but I think it's a bit... It's not meant to be this, like, erratic looking, but... Yeah, I would also say I don't think it looks, like, bad offhand. Okay, Miyazaki, you get your fucking poison area. I'm sure he has it in his fucking contract. I'm allowed to make a poison area in every game. Because, of course. I don't really mind. I think the only one I really don't like is the Demon Souls one. That one just absolutely raw dogs me like no other swamp. It's kind of crazy that that was like the first Soulsborne swamp, and I still consider it easily the toughest. Mostly because you can't roll once you get into the deep swamp. That, like the bottom swamp part, like you just can't fucking roll. And I do like in DS3 they were like, you know what? Let's be nice to them and at least just let them fat roll. That was an interesting, like, oh, alright, I heard the feedback. Yeah, see, here's a point light. You can see these candles have a little bit of illumination on them. That is what my point light does. And I placed a shitload of them. There's so many. Oh no, not the fucking winter lantern. Because I just want this shortcut. I want the elevator. Yeah, and Demon Souls, the poison lasts for 50 years. It's crazy. Yeah, Bloodborne, the poison's actually not bad. I do think it's funny that they call it slow poison when it's like, no, I think it's pretty quick. I mean, it's quick enough. It's not like as bad. It's nowhere near as like bad as DS2 Toxic. Holy shit. Holy shit. DS2 Toxic is crazy. That thing is melting your health. Hell, even the like DS2 Poison is like DS1 Toxic. Um, I hate this part more than anything. Yeah, this part here, the fucking Winter Lantern. They are the bane of my existence. They always have been, and they always will be. And that's because they're designed very well and specifically for that. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pop the fuck off. I have bolt paper. I have unfortunately one sedative. That is not. I can also heal through it. So it's not the end of the line here. But I'm gonna pop the fuck off. Yeah, see, here's another point light. I think it looks nice. I think that's a nice addition. Those are the things that I like adding to the game, which I think a lot of people would never notice if I didn't point them out, because it just, that's my favorite thing to add, is stuff that just goes, oh, well, that fits. That makes sense. How high is the internal resolution? Well, as far as I understand it with Shad PS4, well, I should say not as I understand it, as it is it actually does render natively at higher resolutions. Unlike some emulators, which of course depends on the platform and why it has to be that way. But like, for instance, the RPCS3 ends up actually like using an upscaler to get to the higher resolution. Like, it's aided by FSR1, and Shad PS4 doesn't have that problem. You can just choose a higher resolution. Well, there's a patch for Bloodborne, and there's all these higher resolutions. And judging from a resolution snob, well, not a resolution snob, I'm actually pretty okay with. We're in the post-resolution world, but I obviously can tell that it's rendering at 1440p, and it is not just upscaling it to that with any sort of like bilinear or bicubic or any of that shit. It is actually a high resolution, which is great. It's fucking awesome. Okay, I have bolt paper, I have my sedative, and you motherfucker go down. Dude, my damage isn't... Okay, that scared me, I forgot about that. Dude, my damage is fucking insane. What the hell? Oh my good... Well, okay, I mean, fuck you. Dude, the 30 FPS patch is making the cloth from the sails down there freak the fuck out, but it actually looks kind of sick. Most of the time I don't think you can notice that. So that's actually really cool. Yeah, you can see it kind of freaking out down there. But yeah, the internal resolution is as high as you want it to be. There's ultra wide, there's obviously 4K. I played at 1440p because for me 1440p is the perfect in-between resolution. Or it's the sweet spot, which for me the sweet spot used to be 1080p growing up, of course, playing on computer for 5,000 years. 1080p for the longest time was the, oh man, that just looks really nice. And I still think 1080p is actually like a great resolution. And I think for most people, 1080p will remain the sweet spot because it's awesome. Like, it's just a great resolution. But I think 1440p has the extra detail that I want, enough of it, and it doesn't nearly reduce performance like 4K does. Now, of course, we live in the post-resolution world, where we are no longer, at least me and a lot of people, we're no longer caring about native resolution stuff. Like, if your game is natively rendering at 4K, yeah, like, I think that's not terribly useful. We live in the post-resolution world. And, you know, honestly, the main thing that, like, when people go, no, native resolution's always better. It's like, well, technically, if you actually do side-by-sides of DLSS quality, which I think is rendering at like 75% of the resolution, and then of course upscaling from there, if you actually do comparisons, you get more detail with DLSS quality, specifically even now with like the DLSS 4 with the transformer model. Holy shit, it looks good. And at the same time that you're not only are you getting more detail, you have higher performance, and you have better anti-aliasing. Like, I'm sorry, but there's no fucking world where I'm going to pick a native full fat 4K with like TAA. Fuck that. Fuck that. Hell no. I'm sorry, but that, to me, that's dumb. Like I am firmly a believer in upscalers. We're no longer really worried as much about how many pixels. It's how many of them are quality pixels. Yeah, and for sure, there, like, obviously there are reasons to dislike NVIDIA. Personally, I think there's reasons to hate every company. Like, if we're honest. And I try to pick the things I don't like and say that I don't like them, like openly. And then if they do things that I like, I say I like those things. I think the internet, so often, you have to view it through a certain lens that, like, well, anytime NVIDIA does something good, I have to say, well, fuck them, I don't like them. Yeah, well, they did that nice, but look at that. And I go, all right, look at... I'm tired. They did something good. I'll say, hey, that was good. Something bad? I hate that. I don't like that, you know? I'm unable to play RE9 on Proton. Playing it on a 3080 on a Haswell... Holy shit, a 4770K. I used to have one of those. That was awesome. At 1080p 60. Yeah, the 5000 series, I feel like has been kind of a downer. I have a 4060 Ti 16GB, and I love this card. This card fucking rocks. It has all the performance I want. It consumes very little power for the performance that it gives out. Like, it's awesome. And I don't even use that bullshit frame gen. I don't really care about frame gen. But just from a performance standpoint, even like in games like the RE2 remake, doesn't have DLSS, right? It does have ray tracing, but it's not very good ray tracing. It kind of sucks. I'm like max settings. I have a texture mod on, and I'm getting like almost, I think it's like 90 plus something fucking frame rate. It's awesome. Yeah, 4770K. Holy shit. Yeah, that's the GOAT. Yeah, I love those. I had a 3770K as well. When are you gonna switch to an ARC GPU? I am really excited by the ARC GPUs. God, I hope Intel just continues with those, because I think AMD is honestly just, I don't know, man. I haven't cared about their desktop GPUs in... I used to have them back in the day. I had them back when they were Radeon, or back when they were ATI. Those are the ones I had. So I've had both. I obviously have an AMD processor. I have no issue with AMD as a company. Well, I think their drivers, since I've had both and I alternated between a lot of the GPUs, and even recently, there's still just a lot of complaints about their GPU drivers. But I think it's mostly that they just don't really do anything interesting first. Like, they are basically always a year behind NVIDIA in terms of NVIDIA does frame gen. AMD goes, okay, all right, let's wait a bit. Here's our frame gen. And then it's always a little bit worse. But there's a reason for that, is that it works on all GPU vendors, not just theirs. It works the best on theirs, but you can run it on like NVIDIA GPUs. But it is a bit tiring after a while, where I was like, okay, NVIDIA has really fantastic ray tracing, and they were the pioneers of that in terms of like desktop GPUs and pushing it on the software side and making sure the games were actually using that and yada yada. And then AMD does their ray tracing, and of course the first generation was dog shit. Second generation of it was dog shit. And then fourth generation of it was pretty okay. Like, I don't know. I'm just tired of that. I just wish AMD would just do something that was like wholly unique and cool and push the industry forward, and it wasn't just copying NVIDIA, but a year later. Like, I understand that NVIDIA has had a stranglehold on the GPU market, but I would argue that a lot of that is actually due to NVIDIA making banger ass GPUs. Like the 10,000 series, the Pascal generation, so incredibly goated. And I think that's what really set them apart, is like the 10,000 series was so, or not 10,000, the 1,000 series. Yeah, like the 1080 Ti, the 1080, the 1060. Dude, I rode a 1060 as far as you could. The 2000 series ended up being more expensive, and of course you didn't really get as much of a performance lift because of the RT feature set and DLSS, and at that point it was like new stuff, right? And so, but then that improved over time, and then the 2060 became the most used card on Steam, and then the 3060 became the most used card on Steam. Like, I genuinely think it's because NVIDIA was making really good graphics cards. Like, there's a lot of other things around that, but at the core of it, they had really good drivers, and they had really good graphics cards, and they had a really cool feature set. So, like, at that point, yeah, you deserve to be selling the most. And now AMD has had massive success on the console front. Huge. Obviously, they're powering the PS5, the Xbox Series, the Xbox One, the PS4. NVIDIA has had a massive success with the Switch and the Switch 2, though. That's been nice to see. The other time NVIDIA was involved was with the PS3, and the original Xbox was an NVIDIA GPU, but it was almost very nearly an ATI GPU up until the very last moment. And then they went with NVIDIA, unfortunately. Well, maybe not unfortunately, because the original Xbox is pretty fucking awesome. Okay, so I have 28,000, and I have a couple Frenzied Cold Bloods. How much do I need for skill? For one level of skill. Fuck yes. Oh, okay. It doesn't take as much to level up as I thought it did. I don't know why I thought it was. Still running a 1080 Ti? Dude, the 1080 Ti, that thing is so powerful. I do think there's a funny story behind the 1080 Ti, in that they had apparently thought that AMD was gonna put out some really competitive GPU to their high end at that point, to the 1080. And so they created the 1080 Ti, which was so batshit overboard. Like, you didn't, and then AMD didn't really have an answer for it. So they ended up putting out the 1080 Ti, and it was just overkill. But that's also why it's still good today. The 1000 series is so fucking awesome. Going from the 900 series, which I think was the, or am I thinking of the 700 series, which was the Maxwell? I don't remember what they called the 900 series, or the code name. They locked in for no reason. Yeah, the 1080 Ti, they just did, it turns out they just didn't have to do it, which I thought was funny, but oh, damn it, I was on the buy screen again. Fucking god, shit in the ass and the taint and the, I got excited. Or wait, what did I just do? I just sold blood vials. I just double fucked up. Oh my god. Chat, I can't stream and talk at the same time. I just can't do it. It's so bad. But it is funny. Okay, I'm going to sell the Crown of Illusions because fuck that helm. I already got the special thing. Also, chat, Don't look at what I just did. I made 2 back-to-back stupid fucking mistakes. Don't worry about it. I didn't need blood vials anyway. Right? Right? We don't need those in this game. Yoink. If this were Resident Evil, I would sell that crown to the vendor for a shitload of money. He's throwing. Hey, apparently I'm fucking throwing. Okay, well there's 51. Fuck it. I just made up all my mistake. It's fine. I still have 79 vials. Nice. Let's eat my insight. I have 3. Just for kicks. And yes, we can go back to the Nightmare Frontier because there is the Amygdala. Which I've only fought, I want to say like 2 times. I'll buy it for a higher price, stranger. What you buy? Okay, that's a terrible impression. Don't worry about it. NVIDIA is pretty destructive with proprietary tech. Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. The RT is not proprietary. In the general sense, like they have been pushing that forward, and so obviously on the DirectX level, there's DXR, and there is that sort of pipeline to where you don't. It's not as if the industry is forced into using NVIDIA's, because of course that's proprietary. But I would counter that with it is mutually beneficial to NVIDIA specifically. There is a reason to have things be proprietary and locked to your own cards beyond just we like to make more money, fuck the consumer. I'm not saying that that's not part of their decision making process, but you can just go look at AMD. You can literally look at AMD's solutions, and all of them will run on other cards. But you know what is also true is all of them are worse. Look at any comparison and tell me that FSR, the very latest FSR Redstone, even in comparisons, is still behind the transformer model of DLSS. And at every step, FSR has always been behind DLSS. Now maybe that'll change, but there is a benefit to now. That would not hold up if NVIDIA's solutions were on average always worse, and they were just locking it for no fucking reason. But like, there is a benefit to specializing it on your hardware. Now Intel has, they have their XESS, and it does run on other cards, but they actually have it in a cool way, where I guess it is similar to AMD, but it's like a more pronounced difference in that it runs on their Z cores, or they have the very specific, God, what do they call it? There's the certain instructions that it runs on the Intel cards that is vastly more efficient, but if it runs on the other, like on NVIDIA or AMD cards, it uses the DP8 instruction set, which is not as good, but of course runs on those cards. So that was a way of like making it proprietary, but not. But I don't know, like that. Oh, I need to use the elevator. What am I doing? But that's kind of where I come down on it. Of like, I think it's easy to just look at it and say that's shitty. They should make it run on everything. And it's like, well, that's very likely going to degrade the product, because you'd have to create a fallback for all of their of how they work. And the reason it's a fallback is that it is not specifically designed for that. Like, NVIDIA has hardware that they put into their cards specifically for, like, they have RT cores that they've been working on and updating for every generation. Like, I don't know, I think people just simplify that shit too much into, well, why don't they just make it run on every card? It's like, well, because that's a lot more difficult, and they specifically designed their cards around this. So obviously they're gonna tailor it and specialize it to their hardware. Like, yeah, no shit. I don't know. People get really binary about that. Now, to be fair, NVIDIA did do some really shitty things around like the what was their bullshit program they had where it like runs best on NVIDIA or some shit? Like, I don't remember what they called that. The way it's meant to be played or something like that. They did some shitty thing. Dude, I have never been killed by one of these, and I will not start today. they did some shitty things with like exclusivity that I really didn't like. And then within the last 5 years, I think AMD was caught like once doing that, but it was a minor thing. Why am I forgetting where the elevator is? I'll find it. I'll always find it. Isn't it over here? Right? I'm having a brain fart, chat. I'm having a brain fart. Yes, got it. Yeah, ZSS is fantastic. If you can choose that over FSR on average, you want to do that. It's very good. Well, and that was the key difference at that point, at least, is that ZSS was machine learning based, and FSR at that point was not. I think FSR has only started doing that with FSR 4, the Redstone one. Which, here's the funny thing with AMD is that, well, guess what? Their recent versions of, obviously, Redstone is only designed to work on, technically, the latest generation of their graphics cards, right? Well, then they found out that there was a backup way that could use a fallback, int 8 or whatever the fuck they call it. But guess what? It looks worse. It's the same case where they specifically had, hardware that they put into their newer GPUs that would be able to run that better, and that's what it was tailored and designed around, so they limited it to that, even though there was a fallback method that would run on other cards. So, I don't know. I would be like, let's not make AMD look like some super benevolent, lovely company. It's a similar thing to like Microsoft, where they were really friendly and they loved putting all their games on every platform. And it's like, while I think that is good and I like that, I think it's very easy to argue that they're in that position because of their lack of exclusive games. And if they were on top, like Sony was on top, they very likely would have kept everything exclusive. So both things can be true. I think it's a good thing, but were they doing it out of the kindness of their heart? I think it depends. I mean, I would say no, but also I would think Phil Spencer does actually believe in that, which he's gone now, but... okay, so now the Amygdala. Oh boy, this might be tough. But without RT and path tracing Boogaloo, there wouldn't be a need for DLSS. I mean, I disagree with that massively, hugely. Obviously, that stuff is very helpful for path tracing and ray tracing because, well, obviously, yeah, if you can lower your internal resolution to save performance, and then the outcome or what the player is actually seeing looks good enough, that's awesome. And it still looks great. And in some cases, looks better than native resolution. And it obviously looks way better than TIA. So, no, even if we didn't have RT and PT, I would 1000% want DLSS still in every single game. Without a doubt. Easy peasy. Not even a question. Because it's the anti-aliasing. That's what I want. That's the real thing I want. YouTube autoplayed this. I didn't realize it was live. Oh, shit. I think it's due to Unreal Engine 5. Yeah, I mean, Unreal Engine 5 certainly has its problems. Part of it is developers not fully understanding how to do shader compilation perfectly, and part of that is Epic's fault, and some of it is on the developer side, where Epic has had many different ways of doing shader compilation, and we've had certain Unreal Engine releases that some of it is that they haven't been using the Nanite and Lumen. Like, if you turn those off and you still use Unreal Engine 5, you'll be great. Those are just really heavy, and they are making optimizations, though. Like, Unreal Engine is getting consistently updated, and it is better than it was. But I just hate when, man, I saw there's someone on Twitter that recently was like, yeah, man, you really hate to see, because I was posting about the, I think it's called 1348X something, which is this like indie UE5 game. It's like a third-person medieval. It's coming out really soon, and I really enjoyed the demo. or ex voto, something like that. It didn't run. It kind of had the classic Unreal Engine 5 problems of like it ran great, but then also not. But they're a small team. But what I hated is that I was posting screenshots of it, and I was like, "Oh yeah, here's the link to the demo. You can try it out." And of course, somebody just goes, "Oh, it's another Unreal slop game." And I was like, "Man, just okay. Do we have to do this? Can we just? Can we just? It's a game, and it's an engine, and it's how you use it. And just because it's using it doesn't mean it's shit and it's bad. And it's like, okay, can we let's have nuance. Oh, okay, it's still culling the shadows a little bit, all the way from over there. Hey, what's up, big dog? I haven't fought you in a while. Okay, do your jump. Do your jump. Don't do that. That's exactly what I want. Or no, I want to attack your head. I need you to jump, and then I can attack your head. Usually I can just bait your fucking jump. Ooh, actually your armor took me sick. Hey, dude. Oh, I think if I hang around his grundle. Yes. Ooh, I got one hit on the head. That's pretty good. Oop, he jumped the other way. Wrong. Oop, got a hit on the head. God damn it. Oh, that was close. Well, that's the leg. That's not really good. I mean, I just can't see shit. I mean, that's my real. I need more stamina. I also have no range on this weapon, so that's not helping me a lot. Okay, but I'm gonna get close to you again. Let's not do that. Thank you. Oh, okay. I think I need to go the other way. Now. Oh, alright. That's pretty good. Ow. Okay, don't punch me. Alright, I need to get close to you again. Thank you. Whatever that is. Hey, lower your fucking head, dog. Oh man, don't laser beam. All the homies don't like the laser beam. Oh, he smacked the fuck out of me. Oh, I thought you were jumping. Hey. Jump, dog. Oh, you ripped your arms off. That's pretty sick. That's pretty lit. Okay, dude, I can't see shit. I see fucking shit, dog. Lower your fucking head. Jesus Christ. I can't fucking see. Oh, goddamn, the jump is a one shot? Oh, I mean, I guess I didn't have full health. Jesus Christ. The fucking camera, man. I just can't. I've always found it better to fight them up close than to, like, stay far away, because the range is just crazy. But you're definitely banking on, like, not being hit by the jump, which clearly went well. He's not very down to earth. That's very true. Although I think that went pretty, like... Ooh. Damn, what the fuck is your problem? Chill the fuck. Oh, I didn't do self-care. I bet there's an FOE. Well, actually, there is a mod to... There's a patch that you can apply right in Shad PS4 to Bloodborne that extends the camera out a bit. Ooh, I need to fix the back face culling, I think, up there. So that probably would help. Which, realistically, it's probably just switching to a different camera param, which is already in the game. Because that happens, actually, depending on where you're at. It can swap it based on the collision that you're standing on. There are other camera params that FromSoft already made for the game that extend it out. You'll notice that happening in Dark Souls 3, like when you go to Undead Settlement for the first time. Right after you beat Vort, you'll see the camera sort of like zoom out a bit, and the FOV changes, so that's part of it. Yeah, that patch probably could help this boss, because Jesus fucking Christ. Okay, I mean, I oh, holy shit. Because the camera is really struggling with, like, trying to... Man, that arm attack is just... What? What? Oh, fuck yeah. Oh, hell yeah. Oh shit, that was huge. That was huge. Oh, I got another hit too. Actually, yeah, do that shit again. That was awesome. That was a good start. I'm gonna do the halfway. Oh, no, let's not do that. I don't agree with that. Ow. Okay, we're just gonna take some hits there. Oh, I thought you were jumping. Okay, I just need to remember if he... oh, dude, okay, that was like hitbox porn. Okay, I need you to jump, and then I'm gonna back up. And I think if I get the right angle, yes, I can punt it. Well, that didn't work. I can't see shit. Okay, I need you to jump, and then because that's the cheese on this guy. Is you just get him to jump, you back up. Oh shit, he's not jumping. I thought he was jumping. Hey, jump for a second. I'll talk. If I could cut your tail, I'd do it. I'll tell you what. Oh, okay. Got a little jump there. Oh! What the hell is going on there? But the animation for him cut down to like nothing. I don't know what the hell is going on with this guy's animation, but he's having a... He's struggling a little bit. Jesus. Fucking Christ. I got his hand. Yeah. This is not my favorite boss, I'll tell you that much. I think it kind of sucks, actually. I don't think it's very good. Hey, I got it out. God damn it. There you go. Well, that's your leg. I don't know. Top up. Much. Do your jump. Okay, down. Got you, bitch. Yeah, you can lock on, but like he's so tall that it makes it worse for me at least, because you're just like I've always found it better to be close to his grundle, because if you're far away, the range on the hands, you kind of I've always found it best to be in that bubble. If you're in the bubble, it's dangerous too, because he can stomp, he can do all kinds of moves, but that's generally how I've killed Amygdala. Is you can really punish the head and the arms. It's just getting him to jump by being right up in his asshole. You can, but if you lock on, it just the camera, it basically just like snaps your neck and tries to kill you. It's awful. Yeah, the increased camera distance should probably help. Yeah, this one is definitely a free, which I kind of like. I've seen people criticize that, where they're like, well, every boss should be perfectly able to be locked on at all times. And I'm like, I don't know that I agree with that. I don't know that I agree with that. I think it's actually okay that they could design bosses where a player would go, you know what? I think it's better if I don't lock on. I don't think that's inherently bad, but I can see people disagreeing about that. But I think you could lock, I hate myself, the developers into a specific style if you're going to like expect that. I don't know. I've never like hated that. I think it's kind of cool that you could have the option of either or. Also, I had this God, who was it? Oh, I think it was Scumnut, which is just, I hate saying that name. I guess it's meant to be disgusting, but I also assume it's a reference to something that I'm just not aware of. But anyway, I can't, God, what boss were we talking about? Oh, I think it was Promise Consort Radahn, which I don't even like that boss fight. But it was on the point of like, he was making a criticism of that based on like challenge runners, where he was like, well, it's really hard to no hit it. And my point was that, well, I don't think they should really base boss designs around challenge runners at all. Like, I just don't think you guys should enter the conversation as far as like FromSoft designing bosses. I just don't think they should fucking care about that. You guys are meant to be the exception to the rule. And that's awesome. And you guys are more talented than me at playing these games, but I don't think that FromSoft should actually make every... This is what we were talking about. Should every single weapon swing, attack, anything from a boss, should all of them be perfectly dodgeable to where you could never be hit? And my thing was just kind of simple, where I was like, no, I actually don't think that I agree with that. I think I'm in the minority on that, where I think that could limit boss designs a lot. I think realistically, if there's a certain hit that is gonna hit me, obviously I don't want it to be a one-shot. I'm fairly anti-one-shot. I don't really care for that kind of stuff, but I'm not opposed to a boss being so powerful and crazy that there's just a certain hit that I'd have to either heal through, or I'd have to block with a shield, because that would mean I'd have to adapt and I'd have to overcome. I don't think that they should be locked into only designing bosses in movesets where the player could always perfectly dodge it if they just time everything perfectly. I think that's kind of boring. I don't know. To me, I think there's just that you get to a limit with that, and it's like, fuck that. I don't... Make whatever the fuck you want. I don't know. I'll adapt and overcome. Like, don't worry about it. But we shouldn't be basing shit around challenge runners. I think that's dumb. And he didn't take well to that. From what I remember, at least. That did not go well. But... And then other people jumped in too. And they're like, well, you just don't understand what he's saying. And I'm like, no, I understand. I don't agree. And they're like, well, that means you don't understand it, because he's right. And I'm like, yeah, I don't think you understand how this works. I just don't agree. Yes, I would agree that and I would actually say with Shadow of the Erd Tree, they have hit the limit for as far as I think they can go with their boss designs, with that like methodology in mind, because in that DLC, man, it was like, dude, your camera has hit the limit to how fast they can twirl and move, and I can fucking understand what's happening to even a certain degree. Like, I think you've hit a certain limit, and I think you got to come up with some other stuff. But that, you have hit the pinnacle of what that design can be and can do. And now you need to, I think you got to work on your camera a little bit. How big is the performance hit? That's a good question. I don't know. I think it will vary based on your. I haven't even really terribly done a bunch of performance testing, but that's also because I tend to play at 30 FPS. So for me, I just maintain 30 FPS the whole time. When I'm doing 60 FPS, basically the only difference is when I don't have the mod, I can tell it's obviously easier to maintain 60 FPS. Because of course it is. Like, there's no dynamic shadows. Obviously when it comes to like VRAM requirements, but mainly it's the dynamic shadows, it's the parallax occlusion mapping. That will take performance, but I think it's really going to depend on your card, which unfortunately is also affected by the emulator and how it runs differently on different series of cards. And that's also a moving target because the emulator is getting consistently updated, and there's performance improvements, there's regressions that makes performance worse sometimes. So it's, I think somebody asked like 500 years ago about the vertex explosions, if there was like a fix in the emulator for that. And as far as I know, yes. It's called someone on stream told me, it's the readbacks setting in the emulator under, when you right click on Bloodborne and game specific settings, and then on the experimental tab, there is the readbacks. And apparently that's what stops the vertex explosions. I didn't know that, and I have the Vertex Explosion Fix mod installed, which what that does is it disables face customization, because that is what is tied to the Vertex Explosions. Yeah, Divine Beast, and then like that weird twirly dual blade enemy, and then some of those big like divine like fucking knight guys or whatever. Like, man, there was just a certain limit where I was like, yeah, maybe it's like 10 FPS. I don't know. I think it'll vary, but there is a hit for sure. But yeah, there were some enemies in that DLC where I was like, dude, I'm only getting by this because I have so many flasks and I have so much health. Like, realistically. But that's also how I got through Elden Ring to begin with, is I had like 50 vigor or whatever the fuck. But that's also just how I play Souls games. I actually find it more fun. Okay, you want a real hot take? I think watching challenge runners is boring as fuck. And I know I'm in the minority on that. Like, I'm in the super minority. But I find it boring as fuck. I understand that, like, a no-hit run is, oh my god, it's exciting all the time, because what if they take a hit? And then it's over. And I'm like, yeah. But even if they, like, I'm watching the most goated player of all time, who just effortlessly doesn't get hit the whole time, man, that shit sucks, dog. That's the fun of these games, is getting hit and dying and struggling and overcoming that challenge, and that's just the struggle, you know? And I guess that's just what it's tied to for me. And so when I think of people that just never get hit, I go, dog, I just can't watch that shit. But that's just me. That I know I'm in the minority on that one. I just, to me, it just, that sounds awful. Well, I think the more interesting challenge run maybe would be like, you have to use whatever weapon you pick up, or like, I think those are more interesting. But the no hit type of stuff, I don't care. I give zero shits. Like, I think it's impressive. Like, yeah, for sure. But man, watching that shit, holy shit, look at that fucking gem. Oh man, 117 up to 144, or I guess 130 something. Okay, that's still pretty good. Yeah, I mean, I guess, yeah, it does depend on it. I guess I just see a lot of people post about them, and it'll just be like, I'm down to getting one hit the whole game. And I'm like, yeah, okay. I don't know. I think it's more fun when people like fall off a cliff and they die and they go, oh no. and they get upset, or well, not upset, but they're like, fuck, and they have to overcome it. And like, I don't know, that's just my connection to Souls games is the struggle in overcoming it. It's such a big part of it. And I understand the overall challenge run is a struggle because it's hard to do what they're doing. But it's, I don't know, it's just the amount of like failure is just one hit and then it's over. And I'm like, I don't like that. I guess I'm just focusing on the specific challenge runs that I don't care about. But there's also, I've seen, who is that one person? Maybe it is Scumnut, but it's somebody who is like, I'm playing the game on New Game Plus 1,000,000, and I have 1 health, and I have only my bare fists, and I'm also getting open heart surgery live on stream, and they're also doing brain surgery, and they've actually cut off my left hand, and my right foot is being eaten live on stream by a zombie, and I'm getting throat fucked by something, and yet I'm still able to beat the game. I don't know. Like, at a certain point, I just go, y'all have run out of like special things to do. Like, at a certain point, I'm just, yeah, you're just watching masochism. Like, I'm good. I'm fucking good. I don't want to ever watch that. I would rather, no. I don't know. It's weird. I just have a weird reaction to that. And I am in the minority because I know those videos are like really popular, but I you know which ones I do find interesting? I think it's what's his name? He does the Souls-like dumpster diving thingamajiggies. I I actually find those runs pretty interesting. He did some of those videos of like, what if you couldn't roll, or what if I can only use, because I actually think those are pretty interesting from the mechanical standpoint of like, okay, well, I can't do this, but if I use this talisman, that boosts this, which then this works with this mechanic, which then that, yes, Iron Pineapple. Those I actually find interesting because they're using the mechanics of the game in a way that was not originally intended by the developers, obviously, but it still works. You can actually do it. And I actually think that's really interesting. Those are more fun for me because it's not like they're doing challenge runs every day or it's just a video that they had an idea for that was like, what if I could do a shield only, this, yada, I can't roll, I can only walk. Like, yeah, I don't know, like that to me is interesting, you know, but it's not my favorite kind of content. But I am tired a little bit of seeing the people that are like, I'm on a, like the dance pad stuff, it's crazy. But they're like, I'm on a dance pad and I can only use one finger and I have to look at the other side of the room and not look at the monitor and only do it through hearing. And I was like, okay, okay, okay. That's actually my nightmare, is if I got famous for like being a challenge runner, and then you basically just have to play the same games until the end of time. And more in more masochistic ways. What's up, number one Komanga? Also, how do you know my real name? I guess I've said that on stream at some point. I guess I just didn't expect anyone would remember that. But yes, that is actually my real name. Who knew? Have you ever thought about making your own game? So technically I have. Back like 15, 20 years ago, which I can't believe I'm saying, and that's true. Okay, so I beat Amygdala. I gotta go. Let's go back to the thingamajiggy. I need to go to the Nightmare of Memphis, which I think is on the second floor. Anyway, back then I got into Game Maker a lot, and I got into Game Maker programming because I started out doing the drag and drop, and then I slowly was like understanding the GML coding language. And I actually made like a Space Invaders clone that was kind of cool, and I made like a platformer thing. I called it Wall Ball, which was so stupid. I don't name things well. We all know that. And it was like God, what do you call those games where you have like the paddle and the ball? and then it bounces and it breaks bricks. Like, I love those games. I fucking love those kind of games. And so I actually made one of those. And then you would get like power-ups that when you would hit certain bricks, right? And then I would like be able to shoot lasers and shit. Like, so I made some of those games so long ago. I would like to get back to probably learning Unreal or something, but I'm also thinking about maybe Godot, just because it's like open source and shit, and it's improving a lot, you know? Breakout. Yeah. And there's so many like clones of those, you know, but I love them. I love that kind of like simple kind of game, and you can really like do a bunch of really cool shit with it. Okay, I thought a slime was gonna jump on me. Damn, 6 sedatives? Okay, that'll come in handy later. Damn it, that's where the slime is. Fuck. I know, I didn't say go dot. Let me go load up that go dot. No, man, it's Godot. Which, to be fair, I used to say Godot. And then I was like, oh shit, it is Godot. That's fair. Hey, damn, you guys are kind of chunky. Fucking chunky squirters. Wow, I hate everything about that. I immediately retract that statement. Last time someone mentioned your name in chat, you asked the question. Yeah, well, it's so interesting because I just go, I really barely ever say that. Like, I think I've only ever like said my real name on stream once, or on Twitter maybe once. Like, I don't know. Like, I just always am like, is this an IRL? Is that who this person is? Like, how do they know? How do they know? My brother, well, I know my brother's account, so, and he's posted in the stream page. I was like, who are you? What? How do you know me? Alright, let's go beat them. Steve made Bloodborne. Yeah, right? Kinda crazy. Oh, fuck you. Okay, let me go. Is this the one that goes to Memphis? I always forget. Because I guess I did the lower one, and that was the Nightmare Frontier. So this one should be the Memphis, Tennessee. Yes. Yes, it is. Hell yeah. This is the one we really needed. Forgot about this little intro spot. I think I've removed most of the baked shadows in this level by this point. I also had to really work on the shadow culling, but we'll see if I succeeded in that. I also upscaled some of the textures here. Not all of them. And new shininess maps for some of them. Oh no, not the worm guys, man. Don't do that. No. God fucking damn it. Like there's a 100% chance I'm gonna get killed by worms one of these times. I need to remember to hit enemies after they die, like a couple times, to get a little bit more health back. Have you seen the mod where they made the area you can see Firelink? Yeah, that is Crestfallen, right? Yeah, we DM back and forth every once in a while. Pretty cool. Oh yeah, I think there is shadow culling going on. Yeah, that was really cool. Man, this area looks so fucking sick. And I don't mean in my mod, like just by default. Yeah, that's cool. I remember I made a mod to go down there at some point, and then I included it in Re-Remastered for a while, and then I undid it because I was like, nah, that's not part of the mod. I'll do that in the fun part, in the like director's cut version, like after I'm done with Re-Remastered, which I'm close. And then I can do the fun version, where I get to do all kinds of wacky shit. That's going to be the one where I add in all of the extra shortcuts. Like, there's a lot of parts in Undead Burg that I had already done, where I had edited certain collisions to where you could jump onto certain roofs, and you could jump off certain railings, and there's a lot of little things like that, just to, like, add extra ways of traversing. But I'll definitely do that in that version of the mod. Yeah, the fun version is going to be cool because I'm no longer going to be limited by like being faithful because I'll already have that mod. And so I can just point people to that and be like, yeah, go play that one. And then I can have my fucking fun version where I just go batshit crazy. And I actually plan on doing that for Bloodborne as well. Not exactly for like level design or anything like that, because those tools aren't as good for that currently, but one day they will be. Okay, well fuck you. Well, fuck you. Joke's on you, I'm gonna spawn like 2 inches from here. But yeah, the Bloodborne one, I basically what that's gonna become, that's gonna be the like my custom uh, visual configs for areas. That's essentially what that other mod is. It's just that's where those are gonna go, and I'm just gonna get really fucking weird with it. I might even have a black and white level. Who knows? Maybe I'll have a Technicolor level. I'll go fucking batshit crazy with this stuff because working on this mod and the Sekiro mod and the DS3 mod, I've been able to learn a lot of the GParam like config files, and that's what you'd be using to do all that kind of stuff. And I think I can make it look really fucking like I want to triple down on the crazy dream-like nightmare-like vibe, like just really go down on it. Well, okay, I didn't mean that, but I suppose that also fits in some sense. I'm just saying a lot of stuff, you know. Okay, fuck you. I'm not gonna fight you. Shit, I ain't fighting you either. I don't care if I get frenzied. I'm just gonna run. Dude, y'all's damage is crazy. There's gotta be an item over here, right? Fuck no, there's not. Oh god, he dookied on me. Oh my god, you guys hurt like a motherfucker. That goddamn Wolverine over here. Thank you. Okay. Oh. Okay, what's up? How's it going? Do you have anything over here? Oh my god! You guys hit like absolute Mac trucks. That's great. Jeez! Fuck. Okay, fuck you guys. Fuck you guys. I added the DS3 jump into Bloodborne. Oh, like on the thumbstick instead of holding down B? Yeah, that would be pretty sick. How did you do that? How is the input delay at 30 FPS on PC? I mean, I would say better in the sense that it's a much more consistent 30, where PS4 can certainly, there are moments where it doesn't quite hold 30. So PC certainly has the advantage, at least now with the emulator, where it's like rock solid. Now the nice thing is the 30 FPS default, like frame cap for Bloodborne, I've talked about this so much on stream, is really good. It's bad for frame pacing, but it's really good for input latency, which I think is sort of the trade-off they made, where it's not a good frame capping method in terms of consistency and whatever, but it is really good at input latency. And so the native 30 FPS cap had a lower input latency than whenever you switch over to the 60 FPS patch, because that patch switches over to a non-FromSoft frame cap method. It basically switches over to a PlayStation system level 60 FPS frame cap that was like available to developers if they wanted to or whatever. But it has higher input latency to begin with. And then you do benefit from it being 60 FPS, which does lower input latency, but there's an imbalance because it starts higher and then lowers it down to 60. I still find the 30 FPS to technically be more responsive at the frame rate that it's at. And also because the 60 FPS patch, the issue with that, even with delta time or not delta time, either way, there's downsides where when it doesn't hit the 60 FPS, you either have the delta time where it'll do this rubber banding and then people, everything will catch up, right? Or you don't have delta time and then the whole game goes into slow-mo when it drops into the 50s, into the 40s. And so for me, it's just not serviceable. I can't. I need the consistency. Like, and that to me is why I still play at 30, because, dude, your jump is fucking crazy. That's nutty. It's you at the fucking NFL Combine, and like at the Olympics. That's crazy. Your vertical is nasty. Actually, well, it's not really a vertical. It's more of a, well, I'm not sure really what you would call it. Hey. Okay. Well, that chunk was worth it. Worth it. Hey, Carl, go check on your boy Brad over here. He's fucking having a bit of a problem. I don't know if you see him. He's kind of kneeling there. Oh, fucking Bloodstone chunk. You'll have to see it. But yeah, I don't really like any of the 60 FPS options we currently have. I'm hoping at some point there'll be a better solution that doesn't have the delta time drawbacks, or the slow-mo from not having the delta time. Like, just neither one to me is. You basically have to have a rig that can brute force 60 FPS locked all the time, or you just have like massive downsides. For me, at least, personally, I just find them to be too much. But I think it depends on how sensitive people are to like input latency, and some people are not. I just happen to be, which I guess I wish that I wasn't. But I am just very sensitive to that, and so FromSoft has a really, really nice 30 FPS cap. What I really want is if they can find a way to essentially port over the 60 FPS frame cap from like DS3, because of course that's using a FromSoft 60 FPS frame cap on PC, well, and console, I guess, because now it basically runs at 60 on console, right? Although that may have been done on the back end from Microsoft, I think, through their FPS boost program, where they basically did it through DirectX, and not, like, it's obviously not at the executable level, right? But yeah, if we could somehow get exactly the frame cap method from DS3 60 FPS, then we'd be cooking with gas. Oh, you put it on the thumb button? Fuck yeah. Yeah, God bless Dark Souls 2 for putting it on the thumbstick. Not a lot of people seem to acknowledge that DS2 gets the credit for that, not DS3. But it's good that DS3 continued that. It's also funny that, like, that's another instance of Bloodborne not taking something from DS2, even though it was a year later, but they had overlapping development. So, like, I understand that they weren't 100% sure that players would prefer it on the thumbstick at that point. But once DS3 came out, it was clear that they had learned that, yes, players did prefer that, I guess. Wow, 6 bone blades? I thought it only dropped 3. I mean, I'll fucking take it. Yeah, I gotta check out the DS3 jump mod, because for me, that's just like, that doesn't take anything away from the experience, because I think it's just better on the thumbstick. I don't think it's really good to have it on the same button. Oh, this bitch. This bitch. This bitch. Dude, I'm gonna raw dog. Most people run by you, and I have done it a lot. Yeah, DS2 did have a durability problem. That is for sure. Dude, my damage is kind of... Oh, hey, oh my god. I forgot how much your fucking stupid... Whatever the fuck you want to call those things. Oh, wow, okay, alright. Well, your damage is kind of sick nasty too, I'll be honest. God, you even have that move? You got all this shit, dog. Gotcha, bitch. All hail the bonfire aesthetic. Fuck yeah. It's such a shame that hasn't come back. How did... That's great. I mean, I guess in Elden Ring, I don't know, that would have been hard to like implement in an open world variety, but I do hope it comes back. And they do like to revisit a lot of their older stuff. Yeah, this bitch has damage. That guy was crazy. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I don't like that little... What is that little... Like, it's a... I've never used them in game, but like the little blower fucking gas thingy. Because the damage is insane. At least on the one he had. God damn. That was crazy. Fucking... I mean, that's the funny thing about Bloodborne is like those humanoid hunter fights can be some of the hardest in the game. Oh, can I fight the Bloody Crow of Cainhurst at this point? Because that fight, he's like one of the hardest, if not the hardest, like single enemy in the game. That dude's insane. What's up, German Daniel Laquanda Baron? Man, I fucking just absolutely demolished that name, like in a bad way. Hey man, hope all is going well. What's up, Melkor Stormcrown 6939? That's a really cool name. It took Miyazaki until Elden Ring. Yep, power stancing. Not only that, but also essentially the Ferrous Lockstones came back in Elden Ring as well with the Stone Sword keys. And of course, a lot of people call it Dark Souls 2 2, which of course is a little overblown, but I would agree that largely I do think Elden Ring fulfilled the ambition of Dark Souls 2. That Dark Souls 2 at the time could just not handle at all with the tech that they had and where they were at. They just couldn't. They could not handle the ambition of Dark Souls 2 at that point. Twin Snakes. Dude, that's a cool name. How early did you get Twin Snakes? I feel like that name would have been taken for ages. But yeah, like Dark Souls 2, especially when you play Dark Souls 2, you can see a lot of like, oh yeah, they definitely wanted this to be like... You could see how Dark Souls 2 could be open world in a sense. Like it is, I like that there's 4 different pathways and it all goes to very different looking areas. And I think it was Tanamira that talked about it, of like, yeah, we had some real development problems. And there was a certain point at which we had to decide, we have to finish this game. So we have to sew together the assets and the areas that we have. And that resulted in Dark Souls 2 having sort of this nonsensical sort of, which I love. I actually think it ended up working really well. I know people will call that copium or whatever the fuck. But I love how varied the areas are. That's one of my favorite things about Dark Souls 2, is that almost every single area feels so distinct. And it's lovely. I love it. I love how different. I will say Bloodborne does not really feature that. Bloodborne, to me, a lot of the areas have that similar vibe, which I think works really well. But Dark Souls 2, you can just completely walk into a different area. And you're like, what the fuck? Am I in a different world? And I love it. It's so awesome. And it was also a product of like, you know, really fucking awful, terribly difficult development. And that's also why game dev is really cool, because you can actually have really cool things come out of restrictions and problems. But I do think Elden Ring was definitely like, I mean, I think is telling that Tanamura was a co-game director on Dark Souls 2. He was also, this is also one of the lesser known or shared things, is that Tanamura was a co-director on DS3 as well. That surprised me when I saw that. I was like, what the fuck? Really? Damn, okay. And part of what surprised me is like how different Dark Souls 3 felt from Dark Souls 2. Where I was like, huh. But they also had overlapping development. So, you know, I think it's easy in hindsight to be like, wow, they should have just learned all of these lessons. And it's like, well, they were overlapping so much of the development of those games that I don't think they had any idea what was going to work, what wasn't working, what, you know, it wasn't until after DS3 they finally took a little bit of a break with like yearly releases. I mean, hell, they released Scholar and Bloodborne in the same year. And then they released the Bloodborne DLC in the same year, I think, that they released DS3. So, like, they were madmen. Or just mad lads. That's more gender neutral.
Welcome home, good hunter.
Yeah, they were certainly held back. I do wonder, like, because it was only a year later that Bloodborne came out. And, of course, Scholar came out in 2015 as well. And that also was like, wow, that's weird. But yeah, you would wonder, like, what would Dark Souls 2 be if they didn't have the PS3 360 limitations? Because we have to remember, by that point, they had made Demon Souls, Dark Souls 1, and then also in between there were, like, some Armored Core, right? Games, if I remember correctly. And they had kind of pushed that console as far as where they had developed their engine. Obviously, there were way better looking games and performing games than what FromSoft was doing on that console. But I think they just struggled a lot with that. Are they working on anything else? Yes. The Duck Blood, they ought to come out with Duck Blood as well. Yes. They haven't revealed what the other projects are, but they have said that obviously they are going to make another single player style game. Not to mention, historically, they've always had like 3+ projects at one time. That's just how they always do it. They just are a constant around the clock type of studio. And they have people hopping between projects, and it's just this like absolute explosion of creativity. And I think it obviously has paid off for them massively. Like Elden Ring was a project that they, if I remember correctly, Miyazaki said they started it after DS3, shortly after DS3. So that project was being made in the background of, like, because that VR game got made, Deracine, and then they made Sekiro, obviously, and then they also had Armored Core 6 that had started during that period as well, and then came out in 2023, where Elden Ring came out in 2022, and then you had Night Rain that somewhere in there had started. So they always have these like overlapping development periods, and it's fucking awesome. So yes, currently it is basically, well, it is guaranteed that they're working on at least 2 other games, pretty much. I'm hoping it's another Armored Core. I would hope that that's one of them, because I loved Armored Core 6. And I think Armored Core 6 allows them to, like, they already have a ton of assets that would be usable for another Armored Core game. And of course, you could make new ones, but they're very good at asset reuse. Yeah, how many people work at FromSoft? That's a good question. I actually don't know what the most recent numbers are, but they are not as large as other game developers. But that's because they cut a lot of, well, it's going to sound bad, but they cut a lot of corners that some other developers don't. I think a good example of that is like Naughty Dog, for instance, or Rockstar. With their games, they will model like the smallest, most minute detail, where they would be like, oh, so for this door opening, we'll have a unique animation if he's wearing this, and we'll have this where it doesn't, no piece of cloth will ever clip through any person's mesh ever, at all, ever. We'll have the horses have balls that shrivel up when it's cold. They do all of these tiny little things, and FromSoft basically says, we don't give a shit about any of that. Oh, 456, that's pretty good. That's pretty good size. I mean, they're still, I think it's mid-size versus some other, but I could be wrong. They definitely have been hiring a lot. They've been talking about that in the last, like, I don't know how many years. They've been hiring a lot. They've been wanting to size up. Although, luckily, Miyazaki has been open about Elden Ring. He's like, we don't need to make a larger game than that. And I love to hear that. They go, nah, I think that's big enough. I think that's big enough. We don't... Because, yeah, I don't know how anyone could look at Elden Ring and go, yeah, we can go bigger. No. Nah. With your separation of your Bloodborne mod and artistic changes, yes. Have you considered making the dynamic shadow options edit? Oh. I mean, I guess I could. That would be after, like, finishing it, I think. Because basically, the hesitation towards doing that type of stuff is that it gets really, really difficult when I'm still working on it. With how their file system works, is I would essentially have to do the most recent updates and then go in and then redo them again for the other set of files that is saved only for the non-dynamic shadow portion of the mod. And then if I want to have a version of the mod that doesn't have the upscaled textures, well, the problem is that can't be with the dynamic shadow version of the mod, because that part removes a lot of the baked shadows, which is actually baked into the same texture files that handle all the upscaled textures. So I'd have to slice those out and then have a third version of the mod and then a fourth version. So, you know, that's definitely one of those, like, after I'm done doing everything, then it's a lot easier to be like, oh, okay. I could basically take the files from my dynamic shadow, like the full version of the mod currently, and I could basically just go into every map and just turn off dynamic shadows for all the map pieces again. And then I had to put all the baked shadows back, so I'd have to get those original files and then repack them back into the, because they're saved in a GI folder, which is inside the texture folder. So easily done, but yeah. There's a little bit involved, but once I'm done, yeah, I can see that, because there's certainly a benefit, I think, to still having the upscaled textures, I guess, and the parallax occlusion mapping and all that stuff, but then have the baked lighting. I think that makes sense. I could see that, because yeah, the dynamic shadows, I've been trying to, it's not perfect, but basically, yeah, the angle of the dynamic shadows is different commonly to the angle of the baked shadows, because the way they stored those dynamic shadows, or like the settings for it, FromSoft was not intending that angle of those shadows to match the baked shadows. It was meant to be for the enemies, and that doesn't match up. It's a whole thing. But yeah, I've tried to angle it to where it's close to where the original shadows of the baked ones were. And I think most people won't notice any sort of difference there, but I personally don't think it really messes with the art direction much, but you know, I certainly could be wrong on that. I'm also biased. I got killed. I had to kill the magma worm. Wait, magma worm. I haven't played Elden Ring in a while. Okay, so I'm not going to throw anymore. I'm just going to buy more blood vials. Wow, I used a lot of vials recently. Eesh. My concern with how, for instance, does a lot of artistic, deliberate hinting and attention drawing with their baked light maps. Ah, so actually, you're in luck. So, my mod does not remove that. I don't actually remove the light maps, and I also don't disable them. The only thing I do is I remove the very specific portion of them that is the baked shadows. But the baked illumination and all of that is maintained. That is a key thing that I figured out during development of this mod, because at an earlier point, I was disabling them, and I didn't like how it looked, and it looked like dog shit. Because yes, so much of the personality of Bloodborne is inside those light maps, and so that's why the current version of the mod retains this. And also, the other portion of what you're talking about there of attention drawing, that is not actually always done through baked light maps. Often, it's actually done through point lights that are placed in the map. And you'll be happy to know that I no longer do what I have done months and months and months prior, where I used to remove, and some of my other mods had removed those like blue point lights that would like point out a chest or point out a doorway. In my mod currently, those are all still there. So luckily, both of those you don't have to worry about. Those are still in my mod, and I have thought about those because that was a big issue I had. I didn't like that I was removing the personality and the baked GI and stuff like that. So that's still in my mod. You just don't have the shadow portion, which is actually stored in the alpha channel of the light maps, and it's specifically stored in the first light map because each specific light map has two versions of it, and it's the second version that seems to store all of the illumination style stuff, and it's the first one that stores the baked shadows. And it was through trial and error I figured out that you can go into the alpha channel and you can bleach that out, and that's what removes the baked shadows, but not the illumination. Exactly. I remember fighting the Iron Golem. It's the only thing like that. Oh, maybe I'm missing out on a... Or any... Oh, you guys are talking about Elden Ring. Yeah, Elden Ring definitely has repeat bosses. Yes. That is true. They are big on that. Yes, so luckily, the point lights, yes, I undid anything with that. Actually, my mod actually has more point lights than the original game, which also could be a concern, but luckily, as I was talking about earlier in the stream, I think they're tastefully done, as the point lights that I've added hundreds and hundreds of them, which sounds bad, but luckily, like in Central Yarnum, they're added to the street lamps. And I tried to keep them somewhat subtle, but I basically added a point light for every street lamp that was lit, because there are some that are not lit, so I had to make sure not to put a point light on ones that are not lit. And so I added one to each one of those. And then, like in Cathedral Ward, there's a lot of like little tiny candles that are all throughout the map, but they didn't have illumination. They just were lit, but there was nothing. They just had like the flame, but for some reason it was just engulfed in darkness. And so I just went in and I added a little tiny little point light. What's annoying is that for Central Yarnum, you actually have to do that 4 times. So for every point light that I placed, I had to place 3 other ones because they have 4 separate versions of Central Yarnum. And so they have 4 separate versions of all the point lights. It was a lot of work. There's a lot of, and then I actually added like a little point light to these. And so I think I've been fairly tasteful with that. But yes, I luckily have not removed all of their point lights that they placed for stuff like that. What was I doing? Okay, I was in Memphis, Tennessee, and I had just gotten the shortcut. Actually, how long have I streamed? I blacked out. Okay, we got like 30 more minutes. Because I've yapped a lot, and then I'll just pass out and take a nap or something. Which is usually what happens, but not always. Let's go back to Memphis, Tennessee. These streams are a good, like, way of allowing me to explain at length about the mod, which is honestly, like, a good thing to do. Because there's only so much I think I can explain on Twitter. With, like, the character limits and, like, pictures, but this is a more long form sort of thing. I like how the camera doesn't keep up with the elevators. That's always, I've always found that funny. Also, very unique elevators in Bloodborne. I very much like that. I wonder if we can do Micolash before ending stream. That would be cool. Wow, I never bought the little hip lantern? Yeah, here's a point light. Which isn't like based on anything, but I still think it's cool. Like, there is like I've definitely changed my mind on that. Like, there's a lot of personality that's baked into those point lights, even if they're not like, even if they're not realistic. That's fine, because obviously, why the fuck are we worrying about realism? I do have to keep myself from that sometimes, where I'm like, I have to remember that it's not always about realism. You know? I've been wrong on that in the past a lot. Where there's certain things that, like, you know, like adding a point light to those little candles in Nightmare Frontier that didn't have illumination before, like, is it making it more realistic? Technically, yes. But I also think it's pretty aesthetically pleasing and doesn't take away from, like, the original look. But I also know that there will just be people that disagree, right? And that's fair, you know? That's actually something it's been really helpful for me over the time that I've worked on this kind of stuff. Fuck you, dude. Oh my god. You guys... Hey, he attacked me. Don't get it twisted. Don't. Okay, don't knock me off, please. Okay, thank you. Yo, I'm getting jumped. Fuck you guys. Okay, well, that went from 0 to 60, but there you go. Okay, maybe I just run by him. I think I've died to the, like, enemies more in this stream than I have in any of the other streams. Oh, so here's the other fun thing about dynamic lighting, is that because I removed the baked shadows and I'm relying on, like, actual shadows, right? Which has its benefits. Well, the downside is that the default setup of, like, what is set to be rendered at any given point doesn't always work with that. So you can see right here, it has stopped rendering something that's off to this side for a variety of reasons, performance, whatever. It was cheaper. Basically, once you enter this room, it turns something off. There's a building over there that's no longer being rendered, and, well, that's cheaper, right? Well, the problem is, if you look back, you can now see it disappearing. And you can see it basically being rendered again. So that is a problem of dynamic lighting. And boy, I've had to fix a lot of that. Which is not FromSoft's fault, obviously, because, well, they had a baked lighting setup, so they didn't have to worry about that. Oh, my cat's like, I'm gonna get in this goddamn room, and you're gonna let me. Damn, my cat. That's actually the first time I've seen my cat kind of freak out over not getting in a room. Okay, hold on. Okay, let's see if they attack me while I let my cat in. You good? Okay, yeah, cat was just freaking out. But now the cat knows I'm alive, I guess. I don't know. You can hear my voice. Alright, it's speedrun mode. Okay, let's grab this. Fuck you. Spin move. Juke. Gave him a little spin move on that one. Blink. Loser. Ow. Okay, well, someone got me a little bit. I have an idea with the dynamic lighting. Can you toggle a light source on or a baked light map or something with that thing unloads? No, I mean, luckily that would be more complicated, if anything. Luckily, it's super easy just to go in and I can just go figure out what's not being rendered and I can just go and change it. That's the easiest thing. And I basically just, I can either, I mean, realistically, I just tell it, hey, just keep rendering it. And then the game goes, oh, okay. So luckily that's like super easy fix. It's more difficult in just figuring out what is the model that is causing that. That's usually just trial and error of like, oh, okay, I'll just turn that. Let me make this render for longer. And then if that fixes it, I go, oh, okay, it was that model. You guys are tough. Okay, you guys are tough. Hi, could you please upload this mod again, but in parts? Huh. I don't... That would not... That'd be hard. That would complicate things more, if anything. I'd have to like figure out what size of chunks to like put into different parts, and I wonder why they fail. I've never had that happen. I mean, not saying that it's not happening, because I mean, obviously it is, but I haven't heard that a lot. For like Nexus mods, that's interesting. God, my one cat has lost her fucking mind with my door being closed. Yeah, interesting. I admit I have not heard that very often. Did animations need to be reworked for 60 FPS? No. I mean, of course, I'm not the expert on that, but because my mod has nothing to do with 60 FPS, that's all done through like patches. But yeah, there was something to do with the cloth physics, because yeah, basically everything was designed around 30 FPS as far as how it functions. So there was some tick rate or technical jargon that I'm not exactly privy to, but yeah, there's and it's still not even like perfect. Like they figured out how to like toggle like 2x on like the cloth physics to make it seem like it works better, because foliage, let me tell you, foliage still is fucked up in 60 FPS. I've tried all the different 60 FPS patches, and the fucking foliage is having a fucking stroke. So until they figure that shit out, that's the other thing about 60 FPS I don't like, is I think that looks bad. And it's not like their fault, but ugh. And actually, if that's happening in the 30 FPS patch here too, I need to go back to the I need to go back to no frame rate patch. Because for me, I'm actually okay with that. And I know that's probably a hot take, but I love playing Bloodborne at 30 FPS. It feels great. It's also just what I'm used to. Like the input latency, I'm so used to this combination of input latency and fluidity. And so whenever I go to 60 FPS for Bloodborne, because obviously I play every other game at 60 FPS, right? But that's also just like, I've always played Dark Souls 3 at 60 FPS. I've always played Dark Souls 1 at 60 FPS. I've always played, but there's something about Bloodborne's input latency that when you go to the 60 FPS patch, it no longer feels as good. Because the input latency is higher by default on that patch. Ooh, I need to upscale textures in here. Yeah, there's quite a few textures that are not great in this room. Yeah, is it the download managers, you think, that are doing it? The grass is fine when I disable your mod. I mean, I assure you it's not. Like, my grass is fine. The only thing that makes my grass fucked up is the 30 FPS, better 30 FPS patch. But like, I assure you, I'm not doing anything with the grass. The only thing I do with the grass is, well, it was already shadow casting, so I didn't do anything with that. And then the only thing is done through the G params is like, well, actually, no, I don't even affect that anymore. So yeah, I promise you, I don't do anything with the grass. I don't set it to render more often. I don't do shit with the grass. So I assure you, it is something else. Why uninstalling my mod does that? But I would check, because I have replicated it. It is any of those FPS patches. It fucks up the grass. But that has nothing to do with my mod. Alright, you run, big dog. You run, big dog. It's the grass cards, because those obviously function off vertex shaders. Damn it, you didn't run in here? God damn it. Yeah, those are based on vertex shaders, and those are all programmed around 30 FPS, and none of the patches have been able to fix that yet. Not to my knowledge. It bugs out in 60 FPS. And hell, it even bugs out in the better 30 FPS patch, because there's something that inside those it's if they could just somehow separate those out to where the grass vertex shaders were not affected by the patch somehow, then that would do it. But of course, that is beyond my pay grade. But yeah, as far as like the downloads like failing, I'll be honest, I don't really have a good. Maybe when I'm done with the mod, I could certainly put up chunks, because that's just unfortunately way too much work. As I'm updating the mod, like that will just be torture. To have to like continuously separate them. Fuck yeah, dude. Come on, Micolash. Ooh, actually, Micolash, hang out there for a second. Well, actually, no, I can do it later. I'm gonna switch into higher arcane defense armor. Not that, like, I think that'll make like a massive difference, but okay. Oh, holy dumb fuck. Holy shit, he popped up. Hey, do your tentacle shit. Oh, I almost thought I had him on that. Okay, I'm gonna go kill your little friend here, because he's kind of pissed me off. I don't think I've ever actually like pushed you out of the room. I don't think it'll matter, because I think you'll come back in the room. But could you, in theory, an anti-aliasing similar to what you're doing, but without needing ReShade? No, I mean the only other option you'd have is built-in anti-aliasing, and that shit sucks. It's like there's different variants. I think by default it's set to. There's basically different anti-aliasing IDs that you can pick from, and I did find one that I found worked better, but they're all pretty bad. I was hoping that one of them would be like an SMAA that they didn't end up using, but they all seem like different variants of FXAA, and it's just bad. It's such a net negative, and I know some people are really averse to ReShade, but I do hope that they get over that. I understand why, but like ReShade is awesome, and it's pretty easy to install once you like understand the picking the shadps4.exe, and obviously there's a lot of reshades that are dog shit that like deep fry the image, but my ReShade doesn't do that. And also it offers really good, well, I should say really decent TAA, and it's not fake TAA, like it is actual motion vectors that are being created for it. Not to mention there's a lot of different anti-aliasing methods that are available through ReShade, so it's just a wonderful extra option. Fucking 3 chunks, dog? Holy shit, that's awesome. Forgot about that. I mean, ideally, you know, it would be really cool to just do nothing through ReShade, because right now I just do depth of field and anti-aliasing. But those are the two that I think are like really weak with Bloodborne. The SSAO I did relent on, because at the end of the day, I will take more AO than less. And I think the FromSoft SSAO method is very core to like the visual identity of the games, which you could say for better or for worse, and I would say in some cases worse. But, you know, I did make tweaks to the SSAO to make it a little bit less grainy and shitty looking, so I'm satisfied with that, more or less. Oh, fuck yes. Yeah, FXAA. Now there are, of course, not all FXAA is created equally, and I think NVIDIA's FXAA is pretty okay, but yeah, like SMAA is certainly preferable. And then MSAA, of course, is like the really old method, but it has its own downsides of like it's not usable in all cases, depending on the certain effects that you're using, and then MSAA does not work well. A nicely tuned TAA, because that's the funny thing about like fundamentally anti-aliasing is sort of like an impossible combination of basically the better anti-aliasing that you have, or more effective at getting rid of aliasing, it is actually blurring those edges. But it's how tactically can it apply that blurring without also smearing detail. And so it's such a balancing act. And of course DLSS is like the ultimate version of a temporal version of anti-aliasing. That's why, of course, you know, it'd be great to have that, but that is just not. I think there's a reason it hasn't been done, because of course it relies on a certain set of information for DLSS that you can't generate purely through ReShade, at least not yet. You can generate motion vectors. There's a lot of different, not all motion vectors are created equally as well. There's Vort Motion, there's Immerse, the Marty McFly, he has his own motion vectors. There's the Luminite kernel that has its own motion vectors. There's and basically a lot of your effects that are based on that temporal information are only going to be as good as your motion vectors, because those are the things that are actually informing like how it's applied and how detailed it is. And so there's just so much that goes into that. But one thing I have relented on is the like doing at least for like the official version of the ReShade. I think I need to update it, but having like AO done through ReShade, it's tough because of specifically areas like this with like dense fog. You know, obviously rendering the AO behind it doesn't look very good. You guys track like a motherfucker. So relying on the game's SSAO is obviously preferable. God damn it, Micolash. You're pissing me off. Nope, wrong way. Also, don't mind me getting lost during this. I always do. Yeah, downsampling. That's true. That's the brute force method. That's the I have extra power and I'm gonna oh, not this way. That's the I have power and I'm gonna fucking use it and just render it at a high resolution. That's awesome. That's really good for older games. Because you can just fucking brute force that shit. Yes, Bloodstone. Well, I don't actually need the Bloodstone chunks anymore for my current weapon. Damn, I thought there was an item. This is for later. Fuck. Or no. He... Hey, bitches. Ow. Ooh, a little bit of frame drops there. You know? Yeah. Run in here, big dog. I always mean to like bring poison knives with me one of these times, because I know you can like kill him from one of these like high up locations, which is really fun. Let's see. Do I have, what's the best arcane defense? Oh, 60. Okay, looks like I already have the best arcane for that. Oh, I already have the best arcane for that. Oh, hey, fuck off. Hey, Micolash. Dude, can you howl fucking later? Let me open my shit, dog. Okay, 70. It's not much, but like, I want to have this. No, that was the earlier one. I love this fight because it's meant to disorient you. And I know some people really hate that. Hey, I don't know, I love it. I mean, I get frustrated just like anybody else, right? But I think it's kind of awesome. Okay, hey, let me open up my inventory. Okay, I got a beast pellet. Okay. What else do I have? Yeah, that's about it. It shifts weight to deflect attacks. Okay. Basically, I just need to stay close to him. Oh, okay. Okay, well, he turned out he did it. Yeah, you just need to make sure you're always close enough to him. Because if he ever does that overhead attack, it's tough. Yeah, do your melee attacks, big dog. That's great. Got you, bitch. First try, you love to see it. Yeah, you just gotta stay close to him. Which is something that they don't, like... They absolutely don't tell you, but... I obviously know because I've watched, like, a bajillion playthroughs. And I guess you'll learn it after you do the fight enough times, which, of course, is annoying. with how long it takes, right? Yeah, that's pretty good. I think I got him down, you know? I always then forget. Oh, how do I always forget. I'm like, how do I get to the... How do I get... Oh, that's back that way. Do I go up here? Yes. Okay. I was like, where the fuck do I go? Yes. Now we are perfectly set up for the next stream on Wednesday. We can basically just finish the base game. Because that's easy peasy, right? Because here is where I need to get the blood rock. And then get up to plus 10. And then I'm going to raw dog the shit out of Ludwig. And then from then on, it's basically just the DLC. Because the only one that I'm worried about is Orphan of Kos. That boss is the bane of my existence. I think I've only beaten him... If I really think about it, I actually think I've only beaten him in New Game Plus. Because that was actually the first time I did the DLC. Because I didn't know it kicked me into New Game Plus, but that's how I did it. And then I don't think I've been able to beat him since. Like, I know I can do it. The amount of time that it takes, because he's just so powerful, and the moveset, and oh, I tried beating him on stream at one point, on a previous character, and it was too much on stream, because I was like, I'm stressed out, it's really hard to fight him, I'm trying to talk to chat, it was a whole thing. But now I'm better, I'm stronger. Adam Ska, my bad. I didn't read your message. What additional memory settings do you recommend? Yeah, I mean, with my mod, what I run it at, and it works fine for me, is the under the custom game settings, like right-clicking Bloodborne custom game settings, and then under the experimental tab, which I don't know why I'm explaining this. I think based on your question, you already know where that is. But anyway. For anyone else who doesn't, there's that box for additional DMEM allocation. I have it set to 5,000. I picked that out of thin air. So you can play around with that number. I actually don't know what's recommended. But I have it at 5,000, and for me it's great. I don't really have any issue anymore, which is awesome. That was such a huge limitation earlier on, when I had higher resolution textures, the last time, a long time ago, it would just stop rendering certain things because it ran out of memory. It was really funny though, but it really sucked. It was a huge limitation, and it led me to strip those out of the mod. But also this time around, I'm doing it way smarter, where the last time I was just upscaling everything, and that was dumb. So now I'm only upscaling what is necessary. Because most of Bloodborne is perfectly fine as far as texture quality. Like, most of it is great. Like, it's only certain things that are like, ooh, okay. And there are certain textures that, like, I am going from 2K to 4K. Luckily, I'm only doing 2x upscales. I have not done a single 4x upscale on anything because it is not worth it. You strip out too much of the personality of the texture of what it originally looked like when you do a 4x upscale. Just 100%. It is not worth it. Whatever the extra resolution you think you're getting and the extra storage space that shit's eating up, it is not worth it. 2x upscale. That is it. That's the best case scenario. You get a nice increase in detail, but it is, at least from, obviously I do side-by-sides of like everything. The program I use, the Topaz Labs Photo AI, don't worry about the AI part. AI upscaling. So it's not generative. They have unfortunately added a couple models that are generative, but I don't use those because fuck generative AI. And I hate that Topaz has any interest in that, but unfortunately they do. But I just don't use them because honestly, I think the results kind of suck anyway. So I don't fucking get why they're doing that, but whatever. I just use their standard models that are just trained on landscapes and, you know, basically they're just trained on Earth. They're just trained on what does wood look like? What does carpet look like? And it doesn't generate what that looks like. It basically just understands the original texture. But that's a whole explanation of what does machine learning based upscaling look like, right? But it's not generative. Anywho, thank you for joining me. This was fun. This was very cool and very cash money, and we're actually nearing the end of the game. And actually, let me look at my save file. I don't think I've been playing for that long. Not really. I mean, also because I've played this game a lot. Oh, okay, let me turn that off. 16 hours. And I'd say a chunk of that is me yapping. So, you might be able to shave off an hour or two. I think that's pretty good. I don't know why I said it like that, but fuck yeah. I think that's pretty solid. Oh, here are some of my modding characters. So here's my main one, Carl, who has 116 hours, because he has access to every area. Problem is, in Bloodborne, he only has access to the nighttime variants of the areas and the purple sky version of Central Yharnam and Cathedral Ward. And there are areas, so this is why I have this character. So Carla here has access to the nighttime variant of Central Yharnam, but not the purple sky post-ROM version. And then I also have this character who has access to the post Papa G gas bag daddy. After killing him, there's a different version of Central Yharnam, which I had to then, because I need access to that when I mod that. And then, of course, I have other characters that just have the initial version of Central Yharnam. So that's a little... oh, here's my blood level 4 guy. I'm at 1 hour and 37 minutes post Gascoigne, and I have like 100 fucking vials. Because I don't have to spend the money on souls or on levels anymore. It's awesome. I'm so freed up. I'm rich. I am flush with cash. It's awesome. That's like the benefit I didn't think of a BL4 run. Is like, oh shit, I just have so much money. I could start buying properties. I could be a billionaire. Not that I want to be, because fuck them, but I could be a cool one. And I could buy stuff, and I could rent out stuff, or for free, and all that cool stuff. Anywho, I could give out blood vials to everybody, although I think that might be worse, to be honest with you. But anyway, thank you for joining, and I'll see you on Wednesday at 2 p.m. unless something insane happens. So basically, same time as the stream. I'll be back. And of course, for anybody who joined late, because this is streamed on YouTube, the whole VOD is just sitting on YouTube. And the chat, I have that turned on where the chat actually goes along with it as you watch it. So you can kind of see what I'm talking. Because I think if you don't do that, it's really weird. Because then I'm just talking to nobody, right? So I like that the chat replay goes along with it. Shout out YouTube for that. And I guess Twitch does that too. But anyway, thank you for watching. And yeah, I hope you guys have a good day. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. I should make a video tomorrow. I'm going to hold myself accountable and say this in a video. I'm going to make a video tomorrow about the mod update. Epic Fail Joker, that's a cool name. No problem. I appreciate the chance of yapping to an audience. It's fun. It's also good social interaction for me, as I am a hermit. But anyway, I'll see you guys later. Have fun.